The adrenaline of combat slowly ebbs away as you march down the seemingly never-ending grid of the lower city of Hengsha. The man you met in the Triad Temple, identifying himself only as RZ-94, leads the way. To a safe house, he says. The wounded struggle to keep up, but the many, many pedestrians you pass on the way either don't seem to notice you or don't seem to care. You are drawing closer to one of the Pangu, the heavily engineered struts that support the weight of the upper city. The Pangu are the gate and key to prosperity in Hengsha, giant elevators that lead to a paradise that rests above the city layer of gloom and smog. They are also among the most heavily policed areas of the city, and the hair begins to stand up on the back of your necks as you spot a patrol holding back another crowd of protesters. RZ-94 strides forward, undeterred, not even seeming to slow down as you draw closer. Then he turns, sharply, down an alleyway. A neon sign glows at the end of the corridor in gaudy Mandarin. Your infolinks translated as Zongzin, bar and arcade. The open ground-level entranceway leads to a large, open floor lined with glowing platforms and equipment. Momentarily distracted by the noise and bright lights, you snap back to realize that RZ-94 has already reached the far side of the room. Squeezing past VR booths and their ensconced customers, you reached a banged-up door operated by an ancient mechanical boat lock. RZ-94 unlocks and opens the door and props it open for you. Inside is a mostly bare room. It looks to have once been an employee locker converted into a one-room studio. It lacks all form of ornamentation, and indeed seems to show an almost practiced disdain for comfort. One bunk bed, one couch, one bathroom, and a single view screen. Nothing wasted. Even with the door closed, the sounds of drunken gameplay reverberate around the room, drowning out the street-level traffic outside. But it seems almost quiet compared to the hell you just went through. Every moment spent waiting, the Triads draw closer to Japan. You groan from your wounds, reminded that there is still work to do. One of the emails Winston Truliad and Rithasak So recovered implicated a man named Julong Sao, who has an office with La Academy here in Hengsha. As you are just beginning to plan your next course of action, you hear a knocking on the front and only door of your safe house. Wyatt, you stand outside a battered door in the back of an arcade. You wonder for a moment if your RFID tracker might have misled you, as the door looks like the entrance to a supply closet. Normally you would never stoop to violating a patient's privacy in this way, but these are desperate times. No one in Nagoya Castle would tell you where to find Sasori, but the cog with him, whose ocular implant you installed, had a serial chip, and only you knew the number. Drawing closer, your customized info link shows biometric data from the other men on the other side of the door. Several of them have elevated heart rates and vital signs consistent with blood loss. Perhaps they need you as much as you will need them. And this is where we pick up.
One thing that you also all would have noticed as soon as you walked in is the door the wall right across from the door is lined with shotguns. So if you had entered the wrong way, about 15 shotguns would have gone off at once, guaranteeing whoever opened the door died hard.
House call.
Friends of yours?
I have no friends.
See if the door is being opened.
I knock again, waiting patiently.
Sasori will very calmly and coolly turn to his host, Grog. I'm not sure what your actual day 47 something. I just remember 47.
It's RZ-94 is what he told you.
RZ-94. I thought you said this place was secure.
I did. Which one of you has a tracking chip on you?
I think Anthony said he's having technical difficulties.
No, I'm still here.
Oh
There
my!
you go.
I'm just not acknowledging the fact.
I can do a check for some tracking chips, but I haven't turned any of mine on, actually.
That's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, who's outside? That's our concern.
Is it one person or several?
I'm gonna look into my monitor VR. Who is standing outside my door? And do I want them to open the door?
Caleb, do you want to give me a physical description of your character?
Sure. I will say right now I'm wearing my tack suit, but I don't have my helmet on, so you can see my face. But I'm a man carrying a big like duffel bag with a red cross on it, and I'm wearing tactical gear, and I'm kind of standing there, just kind of like twiddling his thumbs, kind of whistling.
I recognize him. Do I? BR.
Do you also have infravision?
Oh, I thought he was looking at a view screen we could all see. My apologies.
No, I
Oh.
was looking at a view screen, like a really cheap view screen.
Okay. If I can see Caleb, because apparently we are looking at a view screen, do I recognize the Caleb?
Yes, you recognize the man as your contact, your medical contact at OSHA Medical Associates back in Japan, whom you recently visited.
Sasori will cock an eyebrow before saying, "Peculiar, I know this man, but I have no idea what he's doing in China. He's not a threat, let him in."
At this, I'm just going to flip a switch on the top of the door that is basically hidden from view so that the shotguns are not active, and then I open the door. Get in, quickly now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. And I kind of hobble in.
Shut the door, flip the switch back.
Doctor, you're a very long way from home.
Yeah. About that, you guys wouldn't happen to be hiring, would you?
So, wait, explain. You traveled all across the Straits of Japan to Hengsha in order to ask for a job.
Well, you see, it's kind of your fault that I got fired. I mean, it's not your fault, but it's your fault. They caught me doing records weren't hidden as well as I thought they were, and, well, they found out I did the procedures I did for you guys, and, well, I was,
Procedure, I understand. Gentlemen,
Yes.
allow me to do the formal introductions. Caleb, give me your character name.
his name is Wyatt Kane.
This is Dr. Kane, formerly of the Amashu Medical Group, did you say, Bertrand?
Ohashi.
The Ohashi Medical Concern in Japan. He is, shall we say, a good friend of mine who has, shall we say, been inside me more times than most people should count.
I see. Well, that's kind of good timing because I happen to have been shot and my painkillers are running low.
But wait, how did you get here?
Huh?
Oh,
no.
I have a helicopter.
You have a helicopter.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best, and, you
Fly.
might want to double-check your insurance policy on it, but, yeah.
Can you fly immediately? As in, can we walk out of here and get into it and return to Japan?
Caleb, you realize that while the helicopter is probably faster than whatever method they use to get into Hengsha, getting out still has to be cleared with the local authorities. It will take a few hours.
Sorry about that. I had to take care of something.
I think he's asking you to repeat yourself, BR.
Yeah. Caleb, you realize in response to Sasori's questioning that while the helicopter you took in is a pretty fast means of getting into and out of Hengsha discreetly, it still has to be cleared with ground control first. And that normally takes a few hours.
Yeah. It's not like it's not a magic carpet.
Very well then. Alright, I'll level with you, Dr. Kane. The fact of the matter is that there are a number of very unpleasant individuals going to strike very important targets in Japan. We don't know if our emails have been able to get through or not in order to inform my associates so that they may mount a defense. It is vital that we preempt them.
Well, I mean, all I have to do is get in contact with the ground control, and I can set a flight path. Start trying to get out of here. I don't know how good that'll be, but, or start, I suppose.
Yes, I feel that that is a good place to start.
Oh, and what's this about a wounded individual here?
Hi, it's really starting to sting now.
Okay, BR, I need to walk me through my role.
Right, so, to do repairs on Justin, him being mostly organic, in addition to his wounds, you're going to roll against your first aid, which will allow you to restore at least one hit point.
3d6, right?
3d6.
Good, because I took 8 points of damage to the leg.
Oh wow, that's a critical success. I think. I'm not 100% sure how critical successes work.
Yeah, that's a critical success.
And
Yeah,
not
let me
only that,
just-
I think
Yeah,
my skill is at 17 anyway, so...
Yeah, that's a critical success. At that level,
Nice.
anything up to a 6 becomes a critical success.
Nice.
Okay, let's see here. Page 195.
Let me just grab beer. I'll be right back.
Okay. Your bleeding has staunched. Justin, go ahead and roll a d6 for me.
You went to get a beer.
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back.
Caleb, roll a d6 for me.
Sir, yes, sir. Roll... And a 5.
Okay. In your expert hands, Winston's wounds soon heal over. Melding plastic with flesh, you run your device from your portable kit over his leg. Soon the bleeding dries up and leaves little to no scar tissue behind.
Awesome.
But, wait, Dr. Kane, my one question here becomes, how did you manage to find us here?
Oh, when I pull out my little, like camcorder device or something like that, I'm like, your friend over there, the one I put the ocular implant? His RFID chip was pinging. Well, I pinged it off at him. Don't worry, nobody else can track the signal unless they know the number, and since I'm the one who put it in, we should be good.
That's a nice trick. And Bio, how did I heal?
You might want to have that chip turned off just in case.
Yes,
You would like to be able to. You would like to be able to see.
Faintly irritable look at the doctor.
Anthony, if you would please go ahead and roll against your engineering cybernetics.
Okay, give me a second. You mean robotics or cybernetics?
Either one.
Okay. 3d6. And that's a 10, so that's a success.
You realize that deactivating an RFID chip isn't an option. Depending on the augmentation, it may be possible to remove them wholesale, but they don't have any moving parts. Basically how they work, if you move through a scanner, of which there are many in Hangsha, they give a radio signal off in response. So they're basically inert, and some of them, for security, are integrated very tightly into the augmentation.
Right, with a distinct groan. It can't be deactivated.
We can deal with that later.
No, and if we walk through any scanner in the Hangsha, it'll give off the number. And while the doctor may be reasonably convinced he's the only one that has the number, all it takes is one other individual, especially if it's one of our enemies.
There is the option of gouging your eye out.
That's actually the only option. It would have to be removed.
It's only a radio signal. I can build a mini jammer for it if you need one so desperately.
Gentlemen,
While they're arguing VR, I'm going to start working on my own body. Like,
Sasori takes on a kind of an authoritative tone as he stands up and he. I was wounded very slightly, Bertrand? Question mark. I don't remember this.
You lost, if I rookie. You weren't there at the time.
Okay, I lost what? Sorry.
You lost 4 HP. You took a wound to your shoulder, I believe, a bullet wound.
Okay. So Sasori, moving. He's almost forgotten that he's been shot. There's a slight wince across his face, but he will continue to speak. The fact of the matter is that we need to get back with the information we've acquired. So, what I recommend doing is myself and the good doctor here will file a flight plan in order for his helicopter to take myself and anyone else can carry back to Japan proper, while the rest of you investigate L'Académie and what inferences they may have in this current conspiracy. Also, Mr. Juliet, can you get me a secured line?
Yes, you too.
As you try and call out with your info link, something seems to block you in this place.
Oh, I'm not calling out my info link just yet, but I'm assuming this being a safe house has got some kind of thing to stop outside communications going out, except through a certified line. Am I right? My guess? What's Gross characters? 97?
What he told you may call him is RZ94. His
94.
official assassin call link, however, is metal.
Okay.
Would it be
Well-
possible at some point for you to create an overlay with that, Grog?
Maybe, if someone helps me make it.
Okay.
Well,
We'll get that on the docket.
well, a 94. I'm assuming I'm being blocked while I'm in here.
You're correct.
Do you have a computer I could use that can get out?
Negative, you will have to walk out of this door before anything will come in or out.
Okay, excellent. Also on the side point, are you familiar with what I would like to refer to as lead pipe hacking?
Let's do some lead piping.
Well, yes. Essentially, you seem to know this place a lot better than I do. And while we're here and we have several hours before we leave, there's an individual that we need found and placed into a room, and someone needs a lead pipe.
Oh, that type of lead piping. Yes, I know that type of pipes very well.
Excellent.
By the way, at the end of last session, Grog, did I pay for you to do a thing? Because I'm trying to remember for my...
Yes, you did.
Okay, I will put that down on my expenses sheet.
I was wondering if you'll be interested in helping out with that project.
I kind of go, so you guys are doing interrogation. Is it against any uniformed combatants?
It's...
And, as a matter of fact, yes, these individuals have declared war upon us. We are merely, shall we say, doing what is necessary for a cause.
Well, then I can't help you doing any interrogations that involve anything that would breach anything involving the Geneva Convention. If they're irregular forces, I can help you.
It's not involving any governmental force. It's a private military.
Well, that's a little bit shady, so yeah, I can help you.
There we go.
Right. Sasori's going to look at his, he's going to check the time on his info link. Bertrand, what time is it?
It's actually fairly early in the morning. You guys got back to the safe house at about 4 a.m. It's now about 4:55.
Oh, sorry, Caleb, can I get a roll for the wound on my arm, please? So that's apparently a thing.
Okay, sure. He walks over and kind of pats a chair and says, "Please sit down."
He will sit.
So, 94. We have an individual that we need found. What are your means of accomplishing such an aim?
My means of finding the target?
Yes.
Well, generally I go through different tracking and different criminal contacts, people that I pay off for probation. And then when I know where they are, I shadow them till I can get them in a more secluded area. Then I stab them in the base of the skull with a large knife.
Excellent. We can skip steps 1, 3, and 4 there. I will provide something for you to stab into the back of his skull that's not a knife. And I'm going to have to go and step elsewhere where I arrange a secured line for our friend over there. And have a little check and see if I can locate this individual for you.
Alright.
Could you please make sure that while I happen to be away, no one politely walks up to me while I'm busy and shoots me?
That is fine. Why don't you use the Chinko booth on the right side of the door, outside?
Been a while since I played Chinko. Sounds like fun.
And what with Chinko being an everyday lovely gambling thing, no one will think anything different if you are to walk out and start playing.
Excellent. Sounds good to me. It's good that we think alike on these things. Okay. So BR, I'm going to go and get to work on those 2 projects.
Okay. Sasori, you're feeling a lot better now that the blood is no longer flowing freely and you don't have to actively hold your arm over it. The suit is ruined, though.
No, not my 10,000 Armani. Sigh. I will put it on my expense sheet. Ruined 10,000 Armani suit.
If you like. Okay. Winston Truliard, you step outside the door and your signal goes from dead to full as you pick up on the hard line in the arcade. There's a lot of noise and activity that greets you as you step out, but it's fairly easy for you to remain inconspicuous as everybody else seems ensconced in their activities. Let's see, first we're going to look up the information from L'Académie, right?
Well, first project is the quick one for Evan, which I can just upload into a mini computer that I can just pass to him when he walks out, which was just setting up a secure link for him back to his people. And then the major project is the L'Académie. That's relatively quick. The other one is going to take my attention.
Sure. Bouncing your signal through a couple of open servers that you happen to know delete their access records on a regular basis, you're able to create a tunnel in very little time, and a fairly fast one.
Okay, well, I'll get that held for him, and now I can get to work on the main project. Research this person and potentially find where they are, and get a picture of them potentially and start running some facial recognitions. Let's get everything we can working on this. We have a few hours to try locate somebody in a giant city.
Right. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the email just to remind you guys about how this all got started. So, the first email you got says at the top, from Zhulong Sao at hengsha.l'academy, and it says, you had better hope they finish the job. This address is not secure. Switch SATCOM to channel address. Given your location, it's never too late to put your faith in Buddha, wherever the fuck you see rats pray to. This is coming from Sifat Village Port, which is the port that you guys went to, that they were trying to hijack your ship to, and it's very curious what involvement a prominent PMC like L'Académie would have. Okay, Justin. You have some options. This is really an investigation or research role, but you can also roll against computer operation at a penalty to do the research, or streetwise even, if you want to go around interviewing people, but I presume you're going to start electronically?
Well, it's digital. I can interview people electronically. I mean, if I bounce it around a few of my guys first, see if the name rings around any of them, because I do have a huge selection of contacts.
I mean, you can definitely contact people by info link, and then it would be electronics, but it would still be a social role for that.
Yeah, I'm happy to social. I'm just kind of sending, say, yo, this name ring a bell with you? Just to the people that I'm friendly with, so people that like actually know me online, and because they probably know how this type of business works. And bounce a few of those of like basically the knowledgeable contacts while exploring some of the other avenues. You can multitask a little bit, but yeah, it's a mixture of actual social and electronic hammering down things.
Okay. Go ahead and roll investigation, and I will do some reaction rolls for you.
Is investigation a skill?
Yes.
Yep. I got streetwise.
Streetwise can work.
Cool. And let me grab some dice.
RZ94 makes his way over to the bed inside the safe house. He lies down on the straightly made surface and pulls a cable that snakes into the wall on the side and plugs it into the back of his head. In the dim light, it's easy to forget how heavily augmented this man really is, and you're not sure if any surface of the skin you're looking at is still organic.
Ouch. Right, I rolled a 10, and my Streetwise total relative level is 14.
And go ahead and do investigation for me. Or you can also do research, or even computer operator want to approach it.
Okay, well, I don't actually have an investigation skill, because I didn't know it was a skill. I shall buy it later.
Then just go ahead and roll against your IQ.
Okay, straight IQ roll.
Well, it's going to be -4, but, you know.
Okay, well, I rolled a 10. If I can attach single-minded to it, I pass. If I can't attach a single-minded to it, I fail by 1.
Nope, that'll be a failure.
Okay.
Successful. So, you frequent motherboards, which are not message boards, is frequented by people who are, you know, freaks from 4chan trying to stalk people. It's a question is gathered and something comes back, and sometimes it does. But a lot is. The only thing that you're able to find is messages that the company itself has put out on their website. It turns out Julong Shao has a profile, which I will bring up in a moment here.
Okay, that's actually something I can work with that.
Yeah. So this is a facsimile of their website. Let me know if you guys can see that on the screen share.
It takes a while for to load up on my end. My connection is really shit at the moment.
Yeah. Well, it probably doesn't help that we're streaming studio quality audio and everything else. In a second here. I wonder if I can full screen this. There we go. So a facsimile of their website hovers in front of you on your info link, linked to you by some anonymous contributor on the message board. It says, Academy, Elite Training and Trusted Protection. And under management in Hengsha, you're at their Hengsha facility, there are 3 names. Noah Pryke, Shiming Su, and Julong Sao, who carries the wonderfully vague title of Employee Relations Manager. As Employee Relations Manager at Le Academy Hengsha, Julong Sao leads local business development, pipeline generation, opportunity marketing, and proposal operations for Le Academy Government Services. He comes to Le Academy following 5 years as managing partner and co-owner at BID Designs, a business development consulting service software firm that helps firms in government, aerospace, and defense industry identify, win, and execute business, whatever the hell that means. Julong led BID Designs clients to more than 2.5 billion bulbs in new business wins. He was elected to the Montgomery County GovConNet Council, etc., etc. It's a public profile that tells a little bit about Le Academy itself, which describes itself as an elite security services provider with expertise forged in the world's most challenging environments. Our world-class network of security professionals design customized solutions for our clients to help them navigate the complex, sensitive environments in which they operate. Today's changing security climate, etc., etc., etc.
Sounds perfect. Oh, this guy's been busy. I can probably get a picture of him by cross-reference. I mean, if this guy's in that type of management, he's probably had an interview done. He's probably had his picture taken more than once. He's probably been on at least maybe one press conference.
You know, you'd think. But as you continue to try and scrub the web for any traces of this man, the only sites you get led back to are official La Academy curated domains or partner domains.
And they don't have a picture of them.
They do not have a picture of any of their employees.
Bastards.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to move back over to Wyatt. Wyatt, if you would like to, if just merely stepping outside the room will give you infolink access.
Okay. I also have a sat phone. Does that work here, or is that a question?
Nothing electronical.
No, stepping outside. I have a sat phone. So if I step
You can do a
outside
satellite call if you'd prefer.
does anyone need to make a phone call? I pulled it out of my bag. I'm letting you know. It's being tacked onto your bill.
Could you tell Sasori that I've got his secure line set up?
I heard my name.
I was telling the doctor, Dr. Kane, to tell you that your secure line is set up.
Ah. Well, let Caleb do his thing, and then I'll talk on the secure line.
Okay, well, I sent my flight plan. Do I get a response back on how long it'll be until I'm okayed, or?
You electronically survey the flight control path, which greets you with a schedule of possible departure times and the windows in which they're allowed. And the earliest you're going to be able to get off would be just after prime time tonight, about 7 p.m.
Okay, well, I've charted for that one.
Okay. Your application does the rest of the hard labor for you, submitting, flight numbers, cargo, expected names, and all of that kind of thing.
How many people can he comfortably carry in his?
Like 4, but uncomfortably 6.
Well, no. Basically, what's going to happen here? I would assume, gentlemen, is some of us are going to return to Japan via the airplane. The others are going to have to get the boat back. Does anyone? Because reasonably care. Because you believe it or not, Caleb, you can't overload a helicopter. It is not a good idea.
No. It can handle the weight. My helicopter can even fit heavy guns on it. It doesn't have any, but it can fit them. I can fit more cargo, but it's just the physical cargo, the passenger space. It's just I can fit 6 uncomfortably, but it will fly.
Do you agree with that, Bertrand, as an assessment?
Yeah. Might have to throw out some of the kit in the back, but it can make the weight limit, for sure.
Shotgun.
It won't be comfortable. How many passengers are you going to register, Caleb?
How many are coming with me?
Roll against your piloting skill.
Oh boy, everyone hold on to your butts.
If you fail this roll, Caleb, we're going to have to hurt you before we all die.
If I fail this roll and you try and hurt me, I'll just kill you.
Perfectly valid point.
Anthony has received another in-game death threat. It must be Thursday.
Yes.
Let Caleb make his roll.
And that appears to be...
And I have an 11 in that, so I think I'm okay, right?
Yep.
Yes,
Succeeded by 2.
Yay.
With some clever shifting around on the access, you're able to get over. It has a drop-down box that lets you select the number of passengers, and on your model it maxes out at 5, one under what you would need. But you're able to make weight, something that they're going to check before departure, by basically marking in some completely, innocuous cargo.
My one comment, doesn't Grog weigh a metric fuck ton? I know I don't know this in character, but doesn't he weigh a metric
No,
fuck
I don't, actually.
You're made of metal.
I know I'm made of metal.
He's plated in metal.
150 pounds.
Conrad, I have a plan.
Oh god.
The Academy is basically unhackable. Bid Designs is not.
Okay. You want to go Googling for bid designs then, huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay. This will
Sorry,
be...
did I hijacked Evan's time to do his secure line.
Sure, okay.
Same dichotomy, research or investigation or computer operation. This would actually be research. The other ones are at a -2.
Sorry, I meant Caleb was doing his talk, and then we were going to do Evan to do his talk.
Okay.
Because he remember secure line for him to go and talk to his people.
Okay, Evan. If you're there, it's your turn.
Oh, yay. Sasori will make his way out of the the safe house. He'll have discarded his coat because, it's caked in blood. So he will merely be wearing his shirt that is caked in blood. Blood.
So I set this up to get through to your second IC.
Okie dokie. In that case, Sasora will basically push the Skype call button.
Okay. It's not long before you're connected back to Nagoya Castle through the secure line. Daisuke, ever faithful, picks up on the other end of the line. Hoi!
Daisuke-san, it is good to hear from you.
Oh. Greetings, Sasai. How goes your mission in Hengsha?
Not well. It would appear as though the Triads march to war against us. It is grave tidings.
Yes. Yes, I have been informed of this when you called ahead before. We are making preparations. Do you have any specifics you wish to add?
What were we told? Because bear in mind, I was in and out of the last session due to connection and family problems.
You were told.
Sorry.
Huh?
You were told by the man in the temple that they consider you ancient enemies and that they were sailing for the Japanese coast, presumably since before you arrived, or at the very least shortly thereafter.
Where did we get the 3 boats and all that jazz?
The boat that took you over came from one of the other Yakuza, the largest one in Japan, in a sort of show of solidarity.
Okay. I will simply say, yes. In this case, however, it may be wise, Daisuke, if you use my authority and summon a conclave of the representatives of the other brotherhoods, so that we may speak upon this issue as a conclave when I return.
Of course, I have already begun communications with them, but we have kept to ourselves in terms of, well, how much should we reveal?
This is the question. I believe, however, that a strike against one is a strike against the general whole. So it is that we must be upfront and honest in order to gain the trust and support of the other members of the other brotherhoods and organizations. Give them all the information that we ourselves possess as a show of good faith. He spoke of the Yakuza syndicates themselves as being the ancient enemies, so I do not believe the strikes are coordinated only against us and our interests in the Sumeragi camp.
Phew. Very well. Very well. Well, I have good relations with the leaders of the other clans. I will call them together in a conclave. It has been many years.
Indeed, and thus it is. The Ents will go to war. He does not say that in character, I just had to say that, moving swiftly. Yes, we shall soon shed blood, for it is the way of the chrysanthemum when it is threatened, that our petals shall become like the steel of a blade.
Hi, we'll keep you apprised of our progress. Oh, and I nearly forgot. There was a man here who was looking for you at Nagoya Castle. I recognize him as the man from Ohashi Medical Associates, but apparently he no longer works there.
Hi. He has found me here in the den of snakes that this island has become. We are due to be flying back. A flight plan has been listed for 7 o'clock. I believe he says around 7 o'clock this evening. Give or take, Bertrand, how long will the flight be?
About 3 or 4 hours in the air.
Okay. We should arrive in Japan at roughly, and he will give the rough time of their arrival.
We will await for your arrival and ensure you arrive safely.
In that case, may the fortunes guide and smile upon us.
Hi. Daisuke out, and the call ends.
I'm going to just get a drink, so I'll be back in a minute.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yar, I got a question. Technically, couldn't they record me as, cargo?
They could, and in fact that's more or less exactly what Caleb has done, is he's recorded you and part of Anthony's weight as cargo.
If anyone asks, you're a fridge. So if anyone asks me anything, you say fridge.
Nice.
So essentially, if we get any complaints, all we're supposed to do is sit here and beep at people.
Fridges don't beep.
Okay then.
Throw ice at them.
Alright, we'll cool at them.
Okay. So, anyways, let's go and take over the designs.
Okay.
Let's
So,
also find
give me
out
that-
how they are first.
You remember that roll I was talking about?
Yep, yep. I rolled a 9. My computer operations is 16.
Okay, you're using computer op. You find it very, very quickly, even with an acronym as vague as BID Designs. Apparently it was a startup in San Diego, California, of all places, where a lot of proto-PMCs get their start. It's a military town for the most part. BID Designs is remarkably difficult to find. They never went public, so their finances aren't available. It was a small startup that showed some enormous success in the early years and then fizzled away. And that's about all the detail you're able to find on them.
Okay.
All of this, by the way, from the Academy and BID Designs, would strike you as unusual since, you know, an ice cream stand should have more information than this, but it's par for the course with security corporations, you realize?
Oh yeah, well, that's the, I mean, one part down. That's just kind of getting a little bit of the history. We can dig a little bit deeper, try, go like full darknet and see if we can do a reference to basically trying to find deals or bits that have since then referenced them. I'm assuming there's been they've done their own web scrub, but they might have left something behind.
If you'd like, you can go to the message board you were at before, which is Darknet, and you can post a sort of bounty for anybody who can find out more information about this guy.
Yeah, I'm bounty.
Yeah, it's pretty typical on the message boards that you frequent for people to use electronic bulbs, basically synth coins, a lot like Bitcoin, that are encrypted. And you put money into an escrow account, and you basically post that up using a format, and you know, people will send you information and you mark it as whether or not it qualifies, and the money is automatically dispatched.
But I'm pretty sure that company probably still exists. You said they fizzled out, right?
Yeah, BID closed its doors more than 5 years ago.
Well, they weren't bought by somebody else. They weren't merged with somebody else. They actually shut down.
Yes.
Okay, that's unusual.
They sold their assets and were absorbed into other neighboring companies.
Okay. Who absorbed the software side of their company?
It's not clear at this point. The assets have changed hands numerous times. There was a TID warehouse company, which is basically a stock hardware company that bought a lot of their hardware out from under them.
Okay, next step is, who can we find that may have done business with these people?
Are you talking Le Academy or BID?
BID.
There are completely absent records of BID. Even the tax record is inaccessible to you right now. It wasn't publicly traded, which makes it a little bit more difficult to find, but even so, whatever records there might be haven't been posted anywhere on the web that you can find.
Okay. I'm going to pop back into the room and kind of give these guys a report. So guys, remember the person that I'm looking for? Guys?
I'm here, but I don't understand anything that's going on, so he's just kind of sitting in the corner.
Okay. You need to get up to date. Joe Long is a son of a bitch.
I'll go up with this. You'll fill me in as we go, but for the most part, just point me in the direction of the trauma, or point me in the direction of people who need trauma.
I think you mostly tended to people. I think it's just dressing the wounds and finding somebody a clean shirt about now. How are you with electronics?
I can get. I have a bachelor's in some electrical engineering, but other than that, I don't know.
Hey, where did you graduate?
Stanford.
Nice. Anyways, one of the reasons that we're down here is looking for certain things, and one of the people that we're looking for is an absolute son of a bitch.
I pull out my MP7 with suppressor and a scope on it, and I'm like, is this what I need to use, or?
Yeah, if we find him, I'm going to kneecap him on general principle.
Okay.
But yeah.
Are you sharing basically most of the information you found from the web with everybody else in the room?
Yeah.
Okay. RZ94, as the website of the Academy slides into the bottom right hand of your vision, you recognize the company as a PMC that you've worked for in the past. Indeed, they have offices not far from here, the location of which all of you know, but you happen to know that it's just on the other side of the Pangu, close to where you are right now.
Do I believe that I could walk in?
You've walked in there before. You've never really gone past the waiting room where a liaison would always meet with you and deliver instructions or deliver a channel for you to receive instructions.
Bertrand, I have a question. What
Yes.
would an employee relations manager do in terms of what would one have to do to get a meeting with him officially? What would his job be that we could ask for an official meeting?
The business description, even for a man with... Actually, tell you what, roll against finance or business.
I have both of them. Well, I have finance, because, you know, I have money. Let's see how that one goes. You know what I meant there.
Yeah, I'll be back in a second, guys, and Grog, please let me know that you actually know where that place is. I'll be right back.
I do. It's just trying to figure out how to get in.
I was rolling against a 12, Bertrand, so I succeed on a 5. I succeed on a 9, so 3 under. Yeah.
The site is full of the typical corporate double-speak that dogs the world of business, but reading between the lines, you're guessing that this guy is essentially a liaison, probably travels a lot, comes up with a lot of their ground-level proposals, then develops projects to hand up the chain. He's basically an accursed middleman.
Okay, my question is, Bertrand, what kind of business would I have to propose for me to get a meeting with him directly? Essentially, how would one meet this man in his official capacity?
He's a project developer, meaning that you would have to have an idea that would excite him. Now, it's not uncommon for people to just walk into PMCs and propose a job. You may not get a meeting with Julong Sao, however, doing that, unless your proposal involved the kinds of thing they don't normally do, or the kind of thing that you would want to keep quiet. Anything that would give him an opportunity to expand into a new territory, we would think would be the sort of thing that might attract him.
Interesting. Does his bio include a contact? It does include a contact email. I can see it at the bottom. Okay. Or I could offer him a ridiculously large bribe to set up a meeting. Bribes tend to work, right?
Roll streetwise for me.
I also have street. Yay, being a gangster. I succeed by 1, 2, 4. I succeed by 4.
Bribes have not been the norm for Chinese public officials for about 40 years or so. This man isn't strictly speaking a public official, but he has to work with them on a routine basis. So if you were going to propose a bribe, you want to make sure it was somebody you knew first.
You just turned into a weird robot there, BR. Right?
Transformers too.
What about now? Is it any different?
No.
It bursts my ears.
We are in disguise.
One sec. I'm just going to switch mics. Okay, how's that?
Better, I think.
Hey, Caleb.
Okay. So, here's the deal. Bribing in China has to be as delicate as it has been in the West recently. It's, you presume, done all the time, but not usually with people who are sort of an unknown, and certainly not with people who have any sort of government associations.
Caleb, right, what I want you to do is I want you to come up with an elaborate formula, a chemical formula, because you have pharmacy, don't you? Now,
Yes.
this formula does not need to make any sense whatsoever. It can be complete and utter bullshit, but it has to look impressive. And I'm going to contact this individual as a proxy agent who's basically trying to sell a new stim formula that will increase productivity and that will enhance combat effectiveness of their ground level troops for low price. Essentially, cheap stimulants, cheap stims.
I would also suggest, Silas will pop up, that if possible, we have our software specialist over here. And he points to Winston.
Hi.
See if you can place backdated references in some of the dark websites to give the impression that people have been hearing whispers about this for a while. That way, if they decide to look into the background of the project, they'll see subtle evidence that something's been going on for a while.
I have an idea. You were formerly affiliated with one of the most prestigious medical organizations in Japan. It would be easy enough to... you were in implantation and cybernetic research. It would be relatively easy in order to say that you worked in their research department for their pharmaceutical development. So, perhaps you're willing to sell trade secrets being a disgruntled former employee.
I'm thinking this is all pretty good. Sorry, I missed the point of who we're going to meet with.
Oh, I'm setting up a meeting face-to-face with the guy you've been trying to track down.
How the hell did you manage that?
I came up with a proposal that he would be interested in hearing.
Okay, well, I'm going to run with it. In which case, yeah, how about a project that began as a implant non-rejection drug turned into a potential useful combat stimulus that was then side-funded as its own project, etc., etc., etc. So it's a nice little chain.
And now you, being the disgruntled former employee, are willing to sell the how would one say the research and the chemical formula for the right price, and you wish to see if La Academy would be interested.
Could I actually try and whip up something reasonably actually workable?
You could put together an enantiomer pretty quickly based on the stimulants you have in your pack, and basically just change the chemical signature by a very slight amount, and that's enough to pass patent scanning somebody's laboratory.
Yeah, because I don't want to just walk up with gobbledygook, because if they actually have somebody that looks at it, I don't want to get sunk.
Something, Caleb, that on the outside looks different and complicated, but that will crack under, like, if they put any real effort into it. Because as an initial meeting, they're not going to put real effort into it. They just want to have a concept, you know.
Well, I passed. I know.
Okay, so working under the conditions as you can with a portable lab that you have, you open up the briefcase and start mixing chemicals together. And upon analysis, you realize that you've succeeded in modifying one of your own immunosuppressant drugs by simply, swapping an alcohol bond from one side of the molecule to another. Common, however, there's no telling how this might react if you put it into a person. It just gives you the ability to claim that it's a lot like an existing immunosuppressant.
Do you want us to start human trials?
No.
We can fight people.
Wow.
And in fact, the doctor's face goes, for the most part, he's been very calm and very calm bedside manner. And I go, so are we ready to start human trials? And he gets sort of like a wicked look in his eyes.
No, we're strangely all right. Thank you, though.
While he's doing that, yeah, let's get a few backdated whispers on the go.
Always best to make it
Basically,
look like
that medical company, Justin, is pretty much under the thumb of the Yakuza in the sense that we send our men there, and if they do anything that displeases Sasori, he will rather securely push their shit in.
Yeah, we're adding whispers, hints. If someone was really, really good, they could potentially find them. And we're working on the assumption that they have people that are really,
Exactly. That's the thing. It's that thing of if you find a product on the internet and you want to research it properly, you might have to dig a bit. But if you found a report somewhere saying, yes, this product in one case out of 1,000 causes your balls to drop off, you're going to refuse to use it.
Yep.
So
But the idea partly here is to add a breadcrumb trail that has been partially eaten by crows and doesn't actually lead anywhere.
And also because it would be partially obscured, it would also mean that if they did find it, they wouldn't immediately assume it was too suspicious to be true.
Yeah, I understand. So, this is going to be primarily either a forgery in electronics form, or you can use finance to try and create a paper trail.
Oddly enough, I do actually have forgery.
And I have
Outstanding.
finance, so I will do the finance and Justin does the forgery.
With our powers combined, we will make a wonder drug.
Wow. Hey, Bertrand.
One.
That's a 111 for my finance roll to create a paper trail. It says, Caleb was
Critical success.
Caleb was awesome at his job, and blah. So.
Do we actually have to form a PMC? Can we just form a pharmaceutical company? That seems like it would make us more money.
It's
Yeah,
just
actually,
a pharmaceutical company selling fake drugs.
I mean, it happens nowadays. I'm not saying.
Right, I
And I will pay you, and I will pay you $100 million for this placebo of yours.
Yeah, it's a placebo.
Placebo, yeah.
With the two of you working together and with Sasori's expert guidance, you quickly create the perfect balance for a fake paper trail. Not too much information, but not too little. False investors that need nowhere, and plenty of reason for them to want to keep their identities a secret should anyone go digging. But to anybody else who looks, this would look like a legitimate business venture that's been trying to get off the ground for the better part of 6 months.
Perfect.
Very good. We will now send the email. It will. Which one of us wants to compose it?
Does any of us have typing?
I thought that came under computer operation.
Yeah, I have a
Well,
13
no. Okay.
computer
All right.
operation.
But basically, basically, Bertrand, I will send the following. My character is fake name because I have alternate. We have the alternate identity, so whatever fake name I have to pick. Yeah. Good afternoon. I'm Mr. Insert character's alternate identity name here because I never came up with one. I represent the interests of one Dr. Kane, noted biologist, doctor, etc. List his qualifications. We would be very interested to talk to you about the propagation of business involving a new serum. Please contact us at the following address. Now, if they look into Dr. Kane and serums, they will find the paper trail that we've left. So that will whet their appetite, rather than us being overly anxious about it. It's awesome! Look at it! Look at it!
Okay. You may roll etiquette or diplomacy stroke persuasion, if you prefer.
I have persuasion.
3 1s would be lovely right now.
Anthony, I'll eat your children.
I'm trying to encourage you.
I do not, in fact, get 3 1s, but I think I succeed. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I have an 11 in diplomacy, so I succeed by a factor of 2.
You send out the message and wait nervously a few minutes for a response. The silence crystallizes as the now ever more annoying sound of arcades and noises pummel you from the right side of the room. As you look around, you notice a bar in the far corner, and an old man standing behind it, and a number of players going inside and out, eager to just dip right into the VR games. One thing that you notice as you scan your eyes around the room is just how many of these people appear to be military or ex-military.
Interesting.
Within a few minutes, a response comes back. Not much effort put into the grammar, but in all lowercase, it says, "I would like to meet." Can you arrange a time?
I will reply back. We have pressing business elsewhere. However, we'll be in the city for most of the day. Would you be able to do, say, a lunchtime meeting? Question mark.
Right away, then. What else can you tell me about your proposal?
Needless to say, the information we are prepared to sell is the epitome of the work that has been done by the Hashimo Medical Corporation for the last 6 to 8 months. I am reluctant to say more until we meet face to face.
Very well. I can clear time for you immediately. It comes back in white, featureless text without any hint of tone or accent. Show up at the following address, and you notice that it matches with the corporate address that you have already found, and you will be allowed in.
Excellent. I will send him a simple thank you. We are en route present. We will be en route presently. And I think it might be wise, if we're going to meet this person, that I buy us all clothes that aren't caked in blood.
If not looking like a butcher's dog would probably be a good idea.
Bertrand, is there just a simple clothing outlet store that we can just buy, a suit in it, just off the rack?
Oh yes, there are hundreds. In fact, there are those that you can buy from where you don't even have to talk with the cashier.
Nice.
Okay, so who needs a new suit?
Always.
I think
All right.
I go. I'm currently wearing tactical gear. Would that be a fashion faux pas, or?
Yes, we are going to wear suits.
Okay. I got my white lead coat and stuff like that in the chopper. I can get that.
Okay, so Bertrand, I will buy us all suits. I will count this as 150 bulbs a suit. Does that seem reasonable? Because I'm now doing finance sheets.
Well, if it helps, I can pay for my own.
No, this is just me being mindlessly, okay, so that's one...
And remember, Caleb, if you're being a doctor, you have to go without a tie.
No?
Yes, it's considered good medical practice not to wear a tie.
It's true.
Since if you lean forward, there's a chance of the tie getting bacteria on it, and people don't tend to wash their ties very often.
Yeah, well, there's also wearing a tie when I'm not. That's like if I'm not doing my rounds. I'm here. It's a little different.
If you're wearing your lab coat...
It's something I just carry. Look at my picture.
Anyway. We're getting
Those of you who do have reflex suits or any other form of armor marked as flexible, which unfortunately is not the clamshell, but reflex armor can be very easily concealed under street clothing if you decide you want the additional protection.
Oh no, mine's a reflex tack suit, so no, never mind.
That's flexible, yeah.
It is, but it counts as also a sealed suit, so I imagine that it's not really thin.
Yeah, you'd probably have to leave the helmet off.
Okay.
I'll just wear my reflex. Yeah.
I will continue to wear what I've been wearing.
Okay.
Except I will pick out a new trench coat and hat, since this one's been cut up out of, the small closet.
By the way, BR, before we continue, I have a question. How many months in game has it been since we started now?
It has been a total of 22 days.
22 days, right, yeah.
I have to keep account of this.
We'll have a few opportunities to go into more accelerated time if you guys have any plans for that as soon as the gang war starts in earnest.
Well, it hasn't started in earnest.
Well, it hasn't started in earnest because you guys aren't there.
I'm gonna go push their shit in.
We'll be there soon. This is our last thing to do while we're here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, new suits have been acquired.
It's difficult for a lot of the Americans and the cogs in the party to find a suit on the street that will fit them, but there's a couple of retailers that they can go to where they can find an outfit designed for bigger folk. It is a little bit more expensive than 150 bulbs per, though, I have to say.
Okay, how much do you want me to spend? Just give me a total for all the suits so we can all look at this.
Let's see, there are 6 of you. I'm gonna go with...
I'm not buying a suit for Grog because he doesn't want one.
Right.
But he does want a trench coat.
And I do have my suit back at the chopper, so I can just change.
We're not going back to the chopper, are we? No, because that would mean going forward and then go back. Yeah.
Well, I'm paying for my own.
Well, it'll cost you 300 bulbs to get Wyatt a suit, and that's about the going average for the rest of the people.
Okay, so let's just say 300 times 6 is 1800. That's fine.
Less frogs, which will put it at 1500.
What? Making me wear clothes? I'm confused.
Okay. We're not making you wear clothes, Grog. I've counted off 1500, so everyone gets a new suit except Grog, who doesn't want one.
I would say I'm pretty much dressed in like my picture because I want to look as sciencey as possible.
What is that picture from?
That's actually from a band.
Oh.
It's a music video.
Change their tone. What once was lowercase and sort of inelegant communication now shows perfect grammar and punctuation. You would guess you are now communicating with a secretarial AI, which has arranged transport for you and is asking where you would like to meet the pod.
I will give the pod the location of where we currently are after we have acquired our clothing. So, a local cafe or somewhere we can sit and wait. Also, get a meal, because none of us have eaten since I don't know when.
I have MREs if anybody's hungry.
Yes.
Okay. You don't understand what the acronym stands for, right?
Meal ready to eat.
No, sir. It's meals rejected by Ethiopians, but nice try.
There is a...
Yes, I agree with that. I agree wholeheartedly. Meals rejected by Ethiopia.
By the way, one of these might taste a little Reagan-y, if you know what I mean.
Okay, fuck that. I will order fucking, I don't know, dim sum from a fucking street vendor.
There is a full kitchen at the arcade, kitty corner to the bar that you're at. You're not sure of the quality of the food, probably not great, but it can probably beat an MRE.
Yeah, no, but
It's
bear in
quite
mind, guys,
literal Hello Kitty.
I was going to say, this will be the first meal we've eaten in a while, because we went straight to the temple after we showered the other day, so we actually haven't eaten anything other than, say, maybe, protein bars while we were in the fucking ships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've been dining on crap.
I'm going to suggest a protein bar to also help with the energy intake to speed the process along.
Very well, we'll order food at the arcade and wait for the car and use it while we wait.
Okay.
And we have those.
I swear I had a picture here somewhere.
It is a nice arcade.
I got the picture of the arcade. I also had a picture of a bartender somewhere, but whatever. I'm not going to take the time to find it. So as you sit down to the bar, which is also incidentally the place that you can order your food, a gentleman greets you from behind the bar who, RZ94, realizes fleetingly he never learned his name, but you've had dealings with him on multiple occasions. He's the floor manager, old, serious, thin, touch of gray hair, stony features with jagged wrinkles cutting deep cracks into the hardened surface of his face. He wears an outmoded monocular info-link over his left eye. And as you sit down, it's right to business. No indication of any mood or anything else, but he asks you what you would like to drink.
I would take some black tea, please.
He looks at you briefly for a moment. Teabag alright with you?
That is fine.
Right, he says, as he unceremoniously pulls a glass out from underneath the bar, puts it underneath an open tap faucet, sticks a bag of tea on it, and sticks it over a hot plate.
The good type. You get things thick enough that it can stir itself.
So melt your spoon, he says, staring. What about for the rest of you guys?
It's been a long, long, long day. Whiskey, please.
Whiskey.
One for me, too.
Oh, you got it, he says, reaching underneath.
Make that 3.
3 whiskeys. I got some Johnny Walker Black, as it happens.
That's a good start.
Got it, he says, smiling, clearly pleased with your decision. He puts out a number of themed shot glasses matching the title of the arcade, and pours unceremoniously and slides the shot glasses over to you.
That's how I like it.
Is this a smoking building? I mean, I don't mean it's on fire. Can we smoke in here?
He says, yeah, whatever you got.
Okay. I pull out a cigar.
Have you got them? Smoke them.
Yeah.
Anyone else? I got a
Raises up
spare.
his shot glass. Gentlemen, to good business.
Yep. Cheers. Sorry, I forgot my camera was turned off there.
There you go. So yeah, anyone else want a cigar? I got a spare.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
So what brings you all to Hang Shaw? Touring?
Business talks. You know how people are.
Okay, yeah, we're not. Wait, we're still in the arcade, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm sitting there in tack gear, and I go, "Yep, tourist."
Cheers to your new work, by the way.
Well, let's hope I don't have too much work with you guys.
I thought you wanted. Sasori smiles. He says, "But I thought you wanted me to give you a job."
I do want a job, but I hope I don't need to patch you guys up too much.
I have other plans for you, Herr Doctor.
We're not exactly going to get into that many street balls. I mean, actually, compared to some of the other places I've been, the folks here are pretty nice. I mean, you've got a decent crowd around here, Barky.
The bartender looks over some of the heavy augmentations of your companions and says, you guys ex-military? PMC?
I am.
I've done some private contracting work.
He nods. Yeah, we get a lot of them, he says, motioning his arms over the crowd. You notice a few men in uniforms and a few in camo. One of them even has a patchwork logo that you recognize from the website as a member of the Academy.
Perfect. Yeah, you've got to appreciate having that type of crowd here. I mean, when you get a business like that, that's what keeps a arcade like this, alive, well and true beyond tourist season.
Yeah, the man snorts. They like to call it training. That's why
Hey,
I was happy we got this
Bertrand,
location.
sorry, just a quick question for you. How advanced is virtual reality at this point?
This is a place where people come to have an experience that is essentially indistinguishable from reality, and indeed, there are some conditions that arise from people playing it too long, because after people have been using it, it's so bright and it's so realistic that the real world seems like it's got the volume turned down, if you know what I mean.
Well, it's also appreciative that you got some of the retro stuff in here as well.
Yeah, we survive off our regulars these days. Some people come in to see hollow sims of their families. Others come in for the endless training the machines provide. Everybody's got their pleasure.
Sasori's looking around the place from the perspective of someone who might buy it.
Arcades like these are a little bit old hat. These days a lot of people just plug in at home, but the fact that it has a good location, kitty corner to a lot of military and close to the Pangu, you would guess that it would be better to buy a place like this than to build your own, just because of the built-in clientele.
So this might be a good time to add a couple of interviews to the cast. If we've got the current and working military guys here, we could conduct a couple of interviews, add them to the cast, get some extra viewers on our side. What do you say, Sasori?
Who owns this establishment? Sasori says very calmly.
So a bunch of investors on the Pangu for the most part, but I run the day-to-day, the man says.
Interesting. Investors, you say? How many do you know?
Oh, well, we're not a huge place, maybe about 6 of them at this point.
Well,
Honestly, most of them, I don't even know their names, the man says, laughing. They put the money into the property really early on, and they were all too happy to have somebody else handle it.
Well, I mean, in this case, they made their investment. The place is just going to continue ticking on, and they can collect their side of things for the years to come.
Slow passive income. The dream of every true-blooded Chinese.
Fascinating. Sasori will make a mental note of this, thinking that if he is indeed going to run a gangland invasion of Hengsha, that they are going to need numerous properties like this in order to serve as staging grounds and haunts and hangouts, etc. So he'll make a mental note of this place and its location, and think that if things go the way he's foreseeing, that he might have to contact the owners and make them an offer they can't refuse.
Right on.
Am I
Should
the
be
only
easy
one
enough.
hearing the Godfather theme song?
I'm a fucking Don, Anthony. Accept it. Move on. So, other than that, Sasori's just going to order something akin to, I don't know, chow mein or something similar. Wait until it arrives, eat it, and wait until the pod arrives.
In the corner of your vision, you've even been given a tracking number which allows you to see where the pod is. Most of the time, if it's just simply an automated car, it arrives within a minute or two. This one has taken closer to 20. It's going to be arriving in about 5 minutes since you've gotten your meal. It's an unusual amount of time.
Unusual enough to merit some raised eyebrows, or no?
Not really, because you can see the route coming from the office, and it's fairly easy from that to deduce that they're not using the local network to send you a pod where there's just cars driving around all the time, absent passengers. They're sending you their own vehicle.
Okay. Okay, right, gentlemen. The next point is we can't all bum rush this meeting, because if all 6 of us show up, it will look strange. So how do we want to handle that? Do people basically want to do hilarious infiltration shenanigans while we're at the meeting, or what do people want to do?
Probably best to try a level of infiltration.
I'm very good at this thing you call infiltration, as well as penetration, but that's a different story.
Well, 94, do you want me and you go and work on the side bits?
That seems a good thing for us to do, while the others schmooze.
I just wanted to point out to you, Grog, that either for you is an option. These people know you, and you've done business there before. If you wanted to get an audience, you probably could.
But he also knows the building. That could be really helpful for me.
Yeah, either way.
You might just
Deus Ex, baby.
Well, I mean, my logic is that 6 people showing up to a meeting, all of whom clearly know what they're doing, it looks peculiar. It doesn't. It's not the done thing.
Or
Whereas-
4 people showing up, and then 2 people showing up for a different meeting. Because I can just walk up.
Well, I'm going to follow your lead on this 94. I'm pretty much on your turf with this one. And to be perfectly honest, it's nice to work with a partner for a change.
Okay.
If nothing, I am a professional. So why don't we... What is our goal when we infiltrate?
If we're going to do an infiltration, our goal is to be able to pull information from their servers, specifically in their communication section.
Alright. And if we get caught, I'll just say that it was testing their defensive network. Which it will, so I will not have to lie to them. And they will pay me money for showing them how we got in.
Well, if you've been known to do security, that sounds nice.
I'm pretty sure the old excuse of, I was testing your security while I'm attempting to rob you doesn't work.
Well, he's also, if he's done business with these guys before, a lot of places, actually most high-end places do actually put bounties if you manage to crack their security.
Yep.
So we could put this down as, we're actually trying to collect a security bounty. It's
Because
just doing it a
Google
little
right
bit
now
more
has like
hardcore.
Google right now has like a $200,000 bounty on some of their things.
It's actually gone up a lot in the last couple of years.
You didn't notice any bounties when you were doing your research on them, and they would have been posted in a public way. But that doesn't mean that the trick necessarily wouldn't work.
especially if you got in and got out quietly. Okay, well, give me a second, but I think we got a kind of excuse might not get a shot instantly in the head before, while we take that into account, while then making a hasty escape.
Right, my premise is, because we should move it along. My premise is, so myself, Caleb, and Anthony are gonna get into the car when it arrives, and then Justin and Grog are gonna wait. Gonna get another car behind us. You can order your own taxi service essentially, and go in as a separate entity.
I'm just gonna have. I think we're just gonna walk there, because by the time we get there, you should have already arrived. So let us go ahead.
Don't have to worry about traffic. Yeah, let's go for it. Give me a second. I'll be right back. But yeah,
Gentlemen,
we'll start walking now.
Cardinal rule of tabletop: we are splitting the party again.
Party. We are.
Oh yes, but we're splitting the party in a potential recombination of the party.
You perceive a ping in the corner of your vision, a red dot showing the arrival of the vehicle that was sent for you. It's waiting for you curbside.
Very good. In that case, Sasori will place his chopsticks down and gently dab his mouth with the napkin on either side before saying, "Gentlemen, our modus operandi of transport has arrived."
Okay.
He will motion for Anthony and Caleb to follow him as he makes his way slowly out of the arcade.
You step out into the night air. The foot traffic hasn't let up at all despite the early hour. It's now bright and you shield your eyes as you walk out of the arcade. Up till now, you had almost forgotten it was still morning. Who would like to step into the primary vehicle?
I will.
Yeah, I'll follow.
And I will follow the doctor.
Okay.
And the other two are going to walk.
Right on. You step into what looks to be a large pod, but not done in the typical sort of white utilitarian design of the others that are almost a public service. This one is large and it's spacious and it's painted black. And those of you with security know-how will appreciate its armor and transparent aluminum windshields. As you sit in the back, the camera and view screen hovers in front of your vision in the center of the vehicle. Seat belts pop out from the sides, a feature that has been lacking in most of the pods that drive around the area, despite your notice. Once you are inside and secure, you close the door, and it takes you around the Pangu. It goes by a somewhat circuitous route, taking a few twists and turns that would seem to be unnecessary. But before long, you find yourself outside this. And it will probably take a minute or two, but I'll give you the description. Let's see here.
We find ourselves outside two towering cyborgs. Good to know.
There is an ancient office building that stands in the middle of an empty lot. Though engineered in the neoclassical style, its parapets are austere and undecorated, straight lines conveying stoicism and discipline. You see two figures standing near the portico. No other activity is visible from the street. Your pod pulls up into an otherwise empty parking lot, skipping through where cars would ordinarily be parked. There are a few near the front, but it pulls up to the curb, and the two men nod at you in recognition. It seems they were expecting your arrival. Now, behind you, a minute or two behind, the others are in a public, unidentified pod, and will arrive in about a minute.
I'll be back in just a second, guys. Just need to go grab a charger.
Yeah, don't want that tablet dying on us. 94, so what's the best route for entry?
Well, if we're not going in through the front door, I'd say we go into the back door.
Well, the back door, the side door, the window, the second floor.
Actually, that is a thing. How tall is a story in this game?
It's about 10 or 11 feet.
Unfortunately, there's two of us. I can hop one of us can hop up and help get the other up.
Exactly. I'm gonna look for a window, like a second story window that doesn't have anyone in it. VR.
Your pod pulls up on the outskirts of the facility. You wisely decide not to stop there directly, since that would be traceable and would probably get you spotted, so instead you park a block away. From where you're standing, you can see the others being escorted by guards into the building. It poses a number of security challenges. One of the two of you roll me either security, or tactics, or soldier.
Yay!
You run this one.
Alright. I'm going to hand him over a tack net that I'll be reclaiming from him later, so that I know where he is, since I'm doing a group project. So that's D10s. That's not right.
Yeah, don't roll d10s for now.
I make it by one VR.
Nothing but D10s for the whole session. It was so fun.
Fuck off.
The neoclassical style of the building gives you a number of physical opportunities for infiltration. There's plenty of handholds, decent places to go in through the roof that you would imagine. On the roof, rather, but you would imagine no entrance from that side. The real challenge is doing it unnoticed. It's in the middle of a lot. It's surrounded by cameras on all sides, and they may be using any number of monitoring equipment. It's basically recessed from the street level.
Alright, I'm going to turn on all of my stealth gear now. This takes me about 30 seconds, actually, as I'm doing all this. Because it's a second piece.
I also have my own selections, but I don't come equipped with a radar jammer. Yeah, I didn't know that was on the list. Also, while we're nearby, I'm going to pick on my computer scanner. I read the description of it. It's in Ultratech. I can detect basically the communications going in and out, basically between places. It's probably encrypted, and I don't have the means to crack that encryption. But on the same side, I can then cross-reference that and start being able to build basically a little model, essentially, of which places handle the most communications, which handle less communications.
There's surprisingly little communications emanating from outside the building, especially for so many people inside. It's unusual, but you do detect some radio communications.
It's not radio, it's quite a lot of different things, actually.
Yeah, any visible frequency or invisible frequency. Basically, there's not a lot of emissions, period, coming out of the building. What you do get is being directed at the guards outside, both at the front of the building and at the rear. And it is encrypted, unfortunately, but it would be pretty easier to crack than what you presume waits for you inside.
Well, if I had time, I could crack their encryptions, but we're in active infiltration mode at the moment. We just need to know that it's important to know that information is moving. That not as important as knowing what that information is.
Yes, there are numerous signs of life and activity inside.
Alright, so I'm also got a ghillie suit on now. Huzzah! Urban ghillie suit. I have to buy different ones. Does an urban ghillie suit provide me bonus in an urban setting? Dar.
It would. It may be a little bit... I mean, you've got thermopic camo. You've got radio shielding. In addition to the ghillie suit, what else do you have?
I have radar stealth. I have my own radar to counteract other radar systems. Let's see. I've got an inertial compass.
Do you have the infrared?
Geomasking. Complexity 5. TACnet. I have... Let's see. Keep scrolling. Radar stealth, I've already said. I have a hobo knife. To remind you of that. and I have a sonar belt.
Okay. And you have thermopic camo, Justin, and what else?
And I also have infrared cloaking.
Okay.
I didn't know a lot of the other stuff existed in this
Yeah,
game.
the infrared comes with the ghillie suit. That's the reason I put it on.
I've just got it customized in.
Okay, so while you guys are thinking of possible infiltration routes, let's go back to the three of you at the front entrance. The others haven't arrived yet, but the two guards greet you at the door and stand to one side at attention as the door automatically opens from the pod. You can see the portcullis in the back. A rich neoclassical style building lies before you. So, Anthony, Caleb, or Evan, feel free to jump in.
Sori will step out of the car and look the building up and down. He finds it interesting that here in the center of this Asian supermetropolis there is this vestige, this cankerous sore of Western colonialism, and he will wrinkle his nose in ever so slight distaste.
The van, Wyatt seems visibly stressed. He was expecting to do this, and was visibly sweating, and clutches his briefcase close to him.
The guards don't seem to notice reactions from any of you, not that their plastic metallic faces would give away such a sign if they did, but they stand to one side and the entranceway lies open for you. A literal red carpet and gold-colored balustrades adorn the center of the waiting room as you step inside. There is an impeccably dressed, Chinese-looking secretary with her hair tightly pulled back in a bun and wearing a straight, short business suit as she stands behind an ovular desk. This strikes you as somewhat quaint. There aren't many businesses these days that still have such a receptionist. She looks up and greets you as you arrive. Ah, hello. You are here to meet this morning with Mr. Sao, is that right?
Indeed. We thank you and Mr. Sao for giving us this opportunity. Sori will give a respectful bow. For in this situation, Caleb, you're the boss.
Okay. Yes, I'm here to meet with somebody about a business proposal, I think.
Yes, she says. Welcome to the corporate office in Hengsha for l'Académie. I am happy to receive you. My name is...
Sorry, is she French or is she Japanese? She's Chinese.
Her features look Asian, and you would be able to easily recognize her as Chinese.
Okay.
But she's speaking in English to you now, and her accent is impeccable.
Okay.
I am Wu Zhu, she says. I am happy to receive you. May I have your names for the record, please?
Dr. Wyatt Kane.
Wyatt, yes, we have you, she says, ticking a box. And the rest?
Sasori will give his the name of his alternate identity. My name is Kikita Zun.
Kikita Zun, yes, of course, we have you. Okay. And you, sir, she says, looking around at the normally quiet, stoic form behind them.
Silas Deacon, Dr. Kane's technical consultant.
Mr. Deacon, of course. Well, your message conveyed some urgency, she says. Slipping in and out of an accent a little bit. She clears her throat. Sorry. He is waiting for you upstairs. He may be in a phone call at the moment, but you will be able to interrupt him easily.
Thank you very much. We shall be about our business then. With that,
She says, just simply walk to the end of the hall. And as you turn around, you notice a dimly lit corridor with wonderful vases and plush chairs waiting. It's not what you would have expected from a military facility, and what security there is seems totally invisible to you. You come to the end of a hallway as an open office room receives you, and there's a man sitting behind a desk. He appears to be distracted as he is nodding his head and making motions of sub-vocalization as he peers forward at his desk. He doesn't appear to have noticed you as you walk inside.
What was his name again?
Zhulong Sao.
Excuse me, Mr. Zhulong Sao. We have a meeting with you at this time?
He continues to stare for a moment and then looks over and regards you with a neutral expression on his face. Ah, hello, Mr. What was your name? Excuse me.
I'm Kikita Zun, the personal assistant of Dr. Wyatt Kane.
He looks over to the doctor. Ah, hello, Dr. Kane, he says. Please, have a seat.
He kind of squares himself, breathes in, breathes out, sits down.
Your message was somewhat cryptic. What is it that you have for us exactly?
I go, oh, that must have been the fault of my assistant, and I feign you look. And I go,
Honorable Doctor.
oh, it's okay. You know, we're friends. We'll get this sorted out. Anyway, I have for you a cheaper, more efficient stim drug that you can use for... Wait, before I go any farther, was it a stim drug that we were doing? I'm not saying that in character.
It's basically, it was originally designed as a biosuppressant for implants, but we found that it then had massive combat applications in the sense that it increased endurance and, vitality.
Okay, so yeah. So I go, yes, this thing is the genuine article. Made 30% cheaper than the drugs you're currently using, and can be whipped up in most field hospitals.
Anti-implant rejection drug. Well, it is very easy to see how that would give us a leg up on the competition, the man says, as he muses for a moment, his mouth behind his hands. What is the compound called?
I'm just going to try and pull something on my butt, so don't hold me to this name later on.
Compounds be given numbers rather than
It
names.
would be like, tryptophan cortisine number 32 or something like that.
Has it seen clinical testing yet? I don't recognize it.
No, that's also why we're coming to you first. You can get ahead of it.
Unfortunately, my honorable employer's previous contract in... I'm going to get the name of this medical corporation one day.
Hashi Medical Associates.
In Hashi Medical Associates was terminated due to their, shall we say, lack of vision.
Well, I would need to know something about the effects of this stimulant before I would be prepared to use it on our men. You understand, of course.
Oh, of course. And if need be, I'd be willing to work on hand here until the major, testing is done. As far as I can tell, this drug is safe. I haven't been able to get any legitimate testing done. Nothing that could be considered like concrete scientific evidence. But from what I've seen, it's pretty safe.
Well, we did our homework before you arrived, and the company seems to have had some success in the past with drugs such as these, so your credentials are legitimate, the man says, tapping his finger. Well, yes, we will need clinical trials. I assume, this being a corporate drug, publications like that would not be accessible. So, if such a thing can be arranged. I'm curious, though. Why come to a PMC with this, before reaching that stage? Are you expecting us to provide you with trial subjects?
Well, you can easily find us trial subjects that aren't on your payroll, right?
It is our understanding that you have excellent links with, say, more underprivileged areas in, say, Australia, for example, who would be more than happy to sign certain waivers in exchange for the exchange of currency.
He looks at you for a moment. Well, I don't think so. Here at La Academy, we have survived for many long decades as one of the oldest PMCs. In this business, you might know, PMCs crop up and disappear all the time. It's a competitive business, and we've managed to stay afloat by playing the long game. We would not take such risks with the tensions in China being as they are domestically. However, there is something I can offer you. If you will give us first share of the equipment and IP rights to the drug, we can help with distribution. We have protected transport to virtually anywhere in the world.
And what kind of cash and what kind of profit exchange would you be amenable towards?
If we would do this, we would wish to own the drug, its rights and its property, but we would share royalties with you, and an amount we can discuss.
There would need to be a signature bonus for the sale of the intellectual properties.
Of course, the man says, assuming it works as advertised. I will not pay a penny for the however, on its value in the field.
Yes. Sorry, Caleb, just to clarify, the guy here, the picture you have is this individual with all of the heavy-duty augments, yes?
Yeah, this is Jiyoung Sao. He wears a business suit over the rest of his outfit before, and you notice the tasteful adornment of a man working at the very least close to the Pangu. He could probably fit in the upper city just fine, with what seems to be mostly neural augmentations, and the rest have been, well, they're clearly not off the line. Put it that way. This man is wealthy, and his augmentations convey that.
Indeed. So you would request for us to leave you with the chemical compound in good faith, so it can be analyzed?
I need some proof that it works, and that it won't cause severe side effects for our foot soldiers, which will clearly defeat the purpose. But we may be able to provide a means for doing this.
At present, if I may ask, how many of these foot soldiers does l'Académie possess?
Well, goodness me, I thought you had done your research as well as we have. Oh, some thousands. It's all there on our website.
You shall forgive me. As I said, I merely represent my master's business interests. I am not exactly up to date on current military assets and hardware of our potential business associates. 1,000 apologies.
Do you have a sample of this drug with you? He says, eyeing your belongings.
We do not. However, if you would give us access to a medical facility if you would give us access to the correct facility, it could easily be procured.
We do have an on-site medical bay. You will find its accommodation somewhat sparse.
I believe the word that you're looking for was synthesized.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that.
How exactly do you want to phrase this, Caleb?
Hang on, wait, repeat what happened? I have a lot of noise over on my end.
The man is asking you for a sample of the drug.
Okay. I believe I can synthesize something quickly in a laboratory.
Did you have the chemical formula, he says?
Yes, I do.
Well, we do not have the equipment to synthesize such things here, but it would be easy for something like that to be arranged in a city like Hangsha. Shall I make a few calls?
If you can, please.
Yeah. The man's attention shifts downwards as he begins to sub-vocalize, and our attention returns to our two miscreants on the street. So, if I recall from the text, you guys were considering perhaps a second floor entry? This is going out to Justin and Grog.
And they go.
God damn it. Well.
Oh, you ready for me?
Yep.
I was going to say, blame Justin's tiny girlish bladder.
Alright, so first up, I'm going to use a Robobug.
Okay.
First time I've gotten to use this. And I'm going to send it into a second story window, so it can scout for me to see if there's anything in there.
Certainly, you withdraw the small carapace, black in color, from your belongings and activate it. A light switches on and off, indicating to you that it's ready and that it has connected successfully over a secure line to your info link. You put it into infiltration mode as it begins to scan the entrance to the building, and following your instructions, passes over as it crawls up the side of the building, surreptitiously and slowly, slower than any human and more deliberately than any human ever could. It crawls along the exterior of the second floor, but is unfortunately able to find a mode of ingress there. Indeed, the only ones that it can find are 2 open entranceways and a service entrance underneath the door.
Alright, I'm gonna have it go in and
I'm
go
back, by the way.
upstairs or something, because I want it to find a second story room that doesn't have anyone in it.
Sure. As the bug passes in through, I assume, the service entrance, right?
Yes.
It passes underneath the door and suddenly the line goes dead.
Nah, damn it.
Well, it was $100. Oh well. Can I attempt to retrieve it? Like, will it... Or will it come back out like I told it to? It's just the lines cut. Will it still do its programming?
After a moment, it returns outside the building and its communication fades back in. It was on return to sender mode. It will do that automatically when it tends to lose a signal unless you equip it with a prearranged program.
Okay. Well, should have known that was going to happen, but had to try anyway.
Well, it fortunately confirmed his suspicion.
Alright, next I'm going to send an audio bug up to a little up and on the side of the building to try to listen in to see if there's anyone inside and alive in each room.
Okay. I will roll for it. Give me a second.
Its stealth is, because of size, 17.
Yeah, they're not going to find it. The audio bug appears to gather a little bit more useful information. There are plenty of vibrations that are reaching the windows, and while it's somewhat difficult for the bug to actually distinguish what it is being said, you would guess that the building at this hour is pretty much more or less full of people on all floors. The second floor is less active than the first, incidentally, but they appear to be going about their business.
Is there any room that does not have any vibration?
Yes. There is at least one that is between, in a concrete layered area, between 2 rooms. It doesn't have window access, but the surface is remarkably still as the bug passes over it.
Okay. Third floor. Let's see if there's anything on the third floor, if they have anything.
What resembles the third floor is essentially just a part of the receiving room in the portcullis in the center, a raised semicircular platform that you can access from the roof. There is an AC line that comes out of the back. It's not positioned on the roof, but it runs through the top of the building, and you would guess that mostly just wires, cabling, and an air vent go through that part of the building.
Ooh, an air vent, you say? Yes. I feel like I'm about to earn myself a cardboard box moment.
You can't beat classics.
Yeah, so we're gonna go up into the air vent, I believe. So, how we're gonna do this is we're going to use the basic rope trick. I'm gonna find a spot where we are not seen by the, like, just general people walking around, and people aren't going to see us scaling to the side of the building. Can I find something?
Well,
I don't care
the
if
guards
the cameras can't see me right.
It's possible to dodge the cameras with a successful roll, though you would guess if they're anything ordinary, you would be invisible to them anyways, right?
Yeah, but we still want
you
to play
take-
it careful.
So
The back of the building does have a couple of men patrolling and mulling around the outside of it, and basically in order to get into the air vent, you will have to rip off the air compressor perched on the outside access to it.
I've got a full kit to handle that, and likewise, I suspect that they've got an alarm in there. And once again, I have a full tool kit. I can ensure that that circuit isn't broken.
all
Okay.
I've got to do is get you up to it. So
Yeah.
I get the initial infiltration. All right. So first off, cardboard box mode activate. I'm
Oh,
going
Give me
to
a moment. You carry on doing your thing.
I'm going to. So, how do you use stunning in your light system? I'd like to sneak up behind one of them.
Yeah. Sorry, give
Someone
me,
back
guys.
there.
We have dogs sitting at the moment, and one of the dogs is being a little bit tricky. Just be a few minutes.
Is it Bonnie? Do we love Bonnie?
No, it's a new one that you haven't met. It's Molly.
But it's not Bonnie. I'm sad.
So,
No worries. Thanks for letting us know, Justin.
I'd like to hit one of them in the back of the head. Not hard enough to kill them, but hard enough to knock them out.
Yeah, you
I
have
have strength to do it, but is that too...
There's an ability strike. Isn't there a thing called strike to stun? Or something like that?
There's strike to vitals, which I could hit them in the skull to, like, basically knock them out.
What we've been using for takedowns in the past has been judo or wrestling, those types of skills where you just grapple them, and if you hold them for a number of turns successfully, it knocks them out.
Oh, well, I really suck at judo.
Balls.
If I would have known that,
Do you have a laser pistol? Any kind of laser weapon?
no, I don't have any guns.
You don't have any guns? Oh.
No.
Okay. Well, bedazzling them is out, but I know that Justin might have a couple of options with him when he gets back.
Could I not just
I'm
hit them
back.
over the head with a riot shield?
Wouldn't knock them out. Basically, the main options for knocking people out are chokehold, either a hypodermic needle or Justin's vortex gun, which is a gas. So something pharmacological. Or
Hey.
bedazzling them with lasers.
He does have, however, a hypo gun that I could use.
I also have a hypodermic needle, basically, to do it as well, and a miniature spray to do it as well. I have 3 things to do this.
Alright, so, I'm gonna
Which
need
do you-
2 of
which-
these.
Okay. Well, do you want the pocket spray and the pneuma hypo?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Do you want me to handle one of them?
I'm gonna handle both of them because I think I'm a lot better at stealth than you.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get you into position. That's my
I'm
job.
I'm pretty good at stealth as well, but fair point. Basically, I'll handle the one of them if they get fucked up with the vortex. So I'll be your backup. If one of them basically doesn't go down, they're getting hit by another shot of high-powered sleep spray.
Okay.
Alright, so...
Grog, I'm not even going to ask you to roll your stealth as you approach up. And in your case, Justin, you take a position a little further behind next to a dumpster, let's say. About, you want to say, 20, 25 feet from the 2 guards?
Mm-hmm.
You're at the rear entrance right now. One of them is leaning against the wall, his weapon sort of dangling beside him. He just came out of the door. And the other is sort of wandering slowly with his finger away from the trigger as he patrols around the back of the outside of the building. One of them is covered by cameras. The one that is leaning against the door, or against the wall next to the door, is not covered by cameras.
Alright, so the one leaning against the wall, I'm just going to sneak up, jab the hypo into his neck, push the button, and then before he can fall, I'm going to keep him propped up to make it look like nothing happened to the cameras.
Okay. Let's see. This will be a melee skill.
Yes, it
It's
will.
It'll be an improvised weapon, I believe.
Yep, but that's still a 12 for improvised.
Okay. Because he's unaware of the attack, he's unable to attempt to dodge. And you can see his jaw begin to open as a metallic sound scrapes from behind his teeth. It's the beginning of a noise before you quickly and deftly cover his mouth with your hand as you continue to jab the needle in between the gaps in the biocircuitry. And eventually the man slumps to one side as you prop him up against the doorway. His fleet split
like,
out.
the way that I want it to look is like he just
Down
got
a
down,
dice.
sitting there, like kind of bored. And I'm even gonna go so far as to pull out his like iPad or something and put both his hands around it so that so it looks like he's looking at it, just for the cameras, because they can't see me, theoretically. So
Sure, you wrap the man's enormously long fingers, an augmented grip of some kind, around his radio, and you tilt his head to one side so that as the body naturally slumps over to the right, it looks as if he's trying to talk into his radio. Does that sound good?
that sounds fine.
Okay.
Now
I'm
for
going to
the
roll perception for the other guard.
do you want me to roll against my stealth?
No, he is rolling to notice the other man, and if he succeeds, he may or may not realize something is wrong. He does. He looks over at the slumped body of his comrade and begins to tell him to get up.
At this point, I'm gonna quickly stealth around to him, and we're going to do the exact same thing.
Okay, this time I'm going to ask you to actually roll your stuff. Crazy,
Alright,
I know.
so your negatives are... You're at -8 to perception. I need to know if he's also using augments for his eyes.
He is. He has similar vision to you, where it's broad spectrum.
Alright, so he's at a total negative of 12.
Okay. He is not going to succeed. Are you sure, by the way, it's -12? Because I know that you
Or
have the anti-radar,
12.
but...
I have
Okay,
anti-radar.
tell me individually what the negatives are coming from.
Alright, so I have 4 from the ghillie suit. That's that's infrared. Deceptive radar jammer, in case he's using radar, is another 2, but I didn't add that. I have the thermal optic chameleon suit, or chameleon cloak. I have a radar stealth, sonar stealth. I have and I have infrared imaging, to where if he looks in my direction, he doesn't see anything. That one costs.
So, the bonuses stack only along the line that he's scanning you with. So, for example, he were to try and scan you with infrared, then your thermopic camo... I don't think that necessarily stacks with your ghillie suit, but we can look into that, and your infrared projection. Would apply to that. If he was using scanner, then the penalty to the sonar would apply. Yeah. So they don't get them all at once.
Since he's using, you said something like me. Like if someone did the same trick to me, I'd be hoed.
I get you, but what you have is you have broad spectrum coverage, so that pretty much no matter how somebody's looking for you, they get a penalty, but you don't get the sonar penalty for somebody looking at you with infrared.
Alright, so that'll only
see what I mean?
be a -10.
Basically for everyone that he's not covering.
Yeah, it's an infrared line. So, let's see here. Yeah, surprise, he doesn't see you. You are now standing away from him. You're about arm's length away, and he's still walking over to the other person's gun. Isn't raised yet. He's not really on alert, but he's walking towards the slumped figure of the man.
And I just spray him when he gets near the guy, and then set him down right beside him as well. Like they're talking to each other now.
Oh my god, that's
Is it-
something really cool you got on your tablet. We gotta watch this shit.
And then I start up like
It's
YouTube on his
a new
tablet.
series of Walking Dead, guys.
Totally load the Lotus episode of My Little Pony on.
Yes.
You would, Caleb, or you. Oh my God! I just called Justin Caleb. I'm gonna go hang myself.
Yes. Before we do it to you.
Is
So
it
they're
a sort
now
of...
watching a kids show.
No,
like
hold
I've
on.
uploaded, like-
you said you were going to spray him. Now, the last time you used a hypo injection, do you have like a
Yeah.
sort of mace that you're going to try and use?
Yeah, I'm just like
my pocket
walk-
spray.
yeah, just put my arm around his face and just right full into his face.
Okay. The man staggers backwards as the spray comes out in front of him, but he doesn't appear to collapse, and now he's struggling against the arm that you have over him. So, what is your basic speed?
My basic speed is... Where's speed on this table? Holy crap, where's...
It should be at the top.
It's a very good place to start, you know.
Strength, help. Basic speed is 6.5, but I have tactics at 10. So 7.5, or tactics at IQ, so 7.5.
Okay, well, I'll have to look up that rule later. Just make sure, like I said before, that if you're using any optional rules, you gotta let me know. And just assume that none of them...
I don't have combat the only things that add to my initiative, basically, in GURPS, is tactics and combat reflexes. I only have tactics.
Okay, I'll have to look at that, because I don't recall the tactics skill doing that unless you rolled for it. But I'll
If
give
you
it
want
to
me to roll for it, I can as well, because I
don't know the rules off the top of my head for that, and I don't recognize it coming up before, or even if it's optional, so this is the sort of thing I'm going to look up between sessions.
It's fine.
I'll give it to you for now, like I did last time, with the shield and all of that. Okay, Justin, the bad guy will act first in the next round, assuming, unless you beat an 8 for basic speed, but I'm going to give you a ready to action, considering that you were sitting there waiting for this sort of thing to happen to back him up.
Yeah.
The gas that he was using doesn't appear to have taken effect yet.
Well, not much I can do from 25. I'm just checking my movement. Yeah, not much I can do from the distance I am away, but the vortex... how are the cameras looking? Do they have an eye on this guy?
They do.
I do believe, gentlemen, it may be botched. It might be time to withdraw.
No, I'll just... the vortex guns has a move thing to it. And I'll just hit the security camera with the vortex gun, so it's not looking at this.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So yeah, the vortex camera... if I vortex camera the gun, it... if I vortex camera...
Vortex gun the camera.
Yeah, vortex gun the camera, it should skip past its observation of this endeavor. That's my hope, anyway.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead and roll. This is going to be against what I assume it's a pistol, right?
Yep. I rolled a 9.
Right on. It is not the kind of camera that can dodge.
I thought so.
Now you are using the concussive force of the vortex washes over the camera. So I believe it's a D6 ordinarily, right?
Yep.
And it has an additional 2 knockback, so it should be like looking somewhere else now for the foreseeable future.
As far as I'm concerned, that the camera's just gone... Ick. I hope.
Let's roll the D6 to see how hard it hits.
Okay.
You can do it, Justin.
I rolled a
believe in
3.
A 3. Okay, perfect. The camera sort of jerks back and is now surveying what appears from its angle to be the far side of the parking lot. It's not moving on its axis anymore, but you managed to keep it from ripping off the side of the wall. So they're looking at
Too
something,
much,
but it's not you.
Not too much, not too little.
Exactly. Right. Now it is his turn. and he is going to attempt to escape from Grog's iron grip. It's going to be a quick contest against strength. I'll tell you what his margin of success is. He succeeds by 4.
So I've got to roll a 13 or less.
Yep.
I rolled less than a 13.
12.
Okay. You managed to snake your other arm around him, and you're sort of gripping him underneath the chin right now. Let's see, Justin, what's your basic speed again?
I have no speed enhancers, so I'm at the basic 5.
Okay, so when we return to the scene, it will be Grog, then you.
Yeah.
But we go now back to the office of Julong Sao, who has asked for a sample and is now begun giving you the tour around the facility. He says, we keep a number of secure items offshore in Hangsha, not at this facility, mind you. We normally use it just for business. But like I said, we have departments all over the world, and we do sometimes use our offshore platform for forward operations. Any data, including the molecules or any research information you wanted to keep out of the drug here, can be kept securely in our computer room just down the hall, he says, as he gestures in a room that is open and absent anything except for a number of supercomputer towers and wires leading from the ceiling and huge fans that appear to be cycling air. It's very sensitive in there, of course, so I'll have to ask you to stay outside. Now is your opportunity to ask the man any questions about his security or his company. You're in the schmoozing part of the facility.
He has my guy. Okay, well, here's my guy. He's like, again, he looks very nervous the whole time, and he says, "Well, I'm a very nervous man. As far as if my other competitors were looking for this, or even my former employers came knocking, how can you assuage these fears?"
Well, he says, I'm quite confident we'll be able to keep your data safe. The whole area on this floor is pressure sensitive. We have cameras and guards around the facility 24 hours a day. The data itself is very heavily decrypted and will never be exposed to the open internet.
I'm not worried about my data. I'm worried about me. He goes. He motions to his personal assistant. You handle this. You know my concerns.
Of course, Master. In essence, what you must understand is that with such a revolutionary breakthrough, other individuals may think of it as their property, despite the fact it is my employer here who is the driving force behind it. He merely wishes that you understand that he considers his safety to be of paramount concern to him.
Well, personnel securitization is one of our specialties, the man says. I can think of no safer place to stay than B-22-122. That's our offshore platform, right off the coast. No one can get to it except our people.
I see. Bertrand, quick check of the old info link for information on B-22 blah blah blah.
Surprisingly sparse, as are most information about this company. But
where is it physically? That should be the information.
Southeast of us, the man says, gesturing out a window and pointing with his hand. You might be able to see it from here, actually, if you're high enough up. It's an off-sea platform that we use to dock when we don't want to deal with any of the local politics. We own it, technically. It's part of maritime law.
I see. Interesting. And from this vantage point, you can guarantee our safety.
Oh yes, the man says. Quite so.
There are some powerful figures, as I'm sure you will realize, who have interests in these items. So, I shall merely take you at your word.
No one will be able to get to you from there. No one.
Do I get the sensation that his cockiness is warranted?
Go ahead and roll insight. There's a skill called empathy that would be ideal for this.
And one quick thing while Evan's doing that, Silas will say, if I may ask, sir, and he is addressing the I've forgotten his name, the augmented chap.
Julong Sao.
Yulong Sao. He'll say, in the event that your security proves insufficient to my employer, would your company be willing to supply us with, say, countermeasures?
Actually, no, the man says. As a matter of security, we cannot allow you to take on any of your weapons onto the base. But, the man says, laughing, it's a military platform, state-of-the-art. It would take a sizable army to penetrate the facility, and if you have enemies like that, well, I'm afraid there are few that could help you.
I rather meant...
Sasori calmly contemplates as he starts counting Yakuza in his head to see if it makes a sizable army.
Silas says, I rather meant that you say no one could harm us there, but let us suppose, for the sake of argument, that someone did manage to. Would your men be willing to engage the attackers in order to ensure my employer's safety?
Of course. We would charge a fee, of course.
Naturally enough, but I just felt it best to inquire, as you've been no doubt been able to tell. Our employer is somewhat delicate when it comes to security measures.
When you wish to be transported to the facility, we will sign a contract, and upon that time, every last member of the Academy will fight to the death to protect you.
What is La Academy's kind of record for, its actual military endeavors? I mean, is it well thought of in its entirety,
Sterling, it's one of the top three, and it's one of the oldest PMCs that's still surviving, which is rare. PMCs tend to come and go. It's one of the few that sort of, it bridges the gap somewhat between national armed service and government services and just traditional wet work.
And it tends to serve the Chinese government.
It's one of the people that they serve.
Okay, cool. Indeed. Well, if indeed your floating fortress is as impregnable as you say, then I have no doubt that all security issues can be dealt with.
Of course. I will draw up a standard contract, the man says. He scans the page for a moment before a new message pops up for you, and it's addressed to Wyatt, not to the companions, with about 11 pages or so of legalese.
Silas will turn to Sasori and say in a voice that obviously he's making a show of giving Wyatt time to read through the contract and say, slightly carrying whisper. By the way, Sasori.
Oh crap!
Yeah, sorry, wrong voice, sorry.
Are we retconning the fact you just said my actual name? Because that would probably end really badly.
I forgot his real name. I forgot the other name. Brain.
I stole it from L5 Aura, so it's Kikita Zun.
Okay.
Yeah, Kiki.
Yeah.
We'll accept Kiki.
Yeah. By the way, Kiki, you're a little closer to the boss. Do you think we'd be able to arrange me doing a technical scout of the place? Just checking that this technical equipment's up to standard. After all, we don't want anyone getting in technical, no matter what they insist.
We must trust in the good... Sasori will answer. He will simply say, we must trust in our new business partners. If they say this area is impregnable, I'm sure that it is. I'm sure that at some point they will be generous enough to furnish us with more information upon the topic. He says with a smile towards his heavily augmented Chinese host.
As you say.
I'm very concerned for your own safety. It makes me wonder what else about this deal you haven't told me, the man says.
Oh. Nothing...
If you want, you can tell him that I have been diagnosed with severe paranoia.
Yes.
Because my guy does.
Unfortunately, due to our master's medical history, we are merely the shepherds of his greatness.
Well, the man says, I'm sure once you see it, your last doubts will be banished. Here, let me show you around the rest of the facility. And we go back to our infiltrators. You have... It is now up to Grog. You've got a death grip around the man's neck and shoulder. And Justin's backing you up.
I'm not gonna kill him, I'm just gonna keep him silent and just hold him there.
Are you sure you don't want to just give him another a blood dose? He's still got the hypo.
Can I hit him with it again?
Yeah, it holds 4 shots.
Oh, well then, shh.
Sorry, it holds. You used a dose. It holds another 2 doses.
Yeah, so... Go to
For
sleep.
brawling.
Go to sleep. Oh shit, I don't have that.
I like that. I like it a lot.
9 or less.
What is your dexterity?
12. So dex minus 3?
4.
Or is it 4?
You try to jam the needle into the same gap you found on the other man's augmentations, but instead it creases along the top of
Yes!
his...
I did it, BR! I did it!
You did it?
Yeah!
He got a 7.
I rolled a 7.
He got 1 under his target.
Sorry, I thought you rolled a 9 and you were saying
No.
you just needed a 9.
No.
Alright. Once again, you're able to find the folds in the man's throat, and he is going to attempt to block by sort of pushing his other hand in the way. You sweep through the cracks between the man's lungs, fingers, and jam the hypodermic needle inside the man's throat. He struggles a little bit and then goes limp.
And like I was gonna do, I move him over to his friend, and now they're watching Epic Pony Time, I believe is the child's thing that they're watching now.
Yep. And to those of you who have gotten into the rules a little bit more about this kind of thing, I just accelerated the process by a few rounds. The guy was essentially checkmated anyways, so figured I'd speed things up.
Well, it's better than me having to run up and do like a flying kick into his head.
Yeah, I mean, there's no sense in spending like 3 turns.
But hang on, Justin. I thought boot to the head was one of your most sacred religious tendencies.
Only when it's suitable.
And by that you mean only when it's animatium and when it's funny.
Yes.
Okay.
So, RZ-94 props the other man next to the other guy's radio. It must be something very interesting they're talking about on the line. They're both slumped next to the doorway. A careful inspection would give away the game, but at least it doesn't look completely out of the ordinary. Okay. And now you have the AC cooler between you and the vent.
Okay. Now, if I just run through the quick bits in my head, I can complete a scan for communications going through this bit, but I'm going to run on the assumption that it has a security bit that goes through it, and potentially also a infrared that would register it being taken off or not.
Yeah, I mean, the first step would be to just simply use engineering mechanical to try and strip away the outside, but without going in too invasively. Then you can scan using your equipment to see if there's any sort of tripwire system.
Okay, let's do that. And that is an 8 on my side, so rather good.
It's been a while since you've gotten to work with this kind of old tech, and actually allowed to get a screwdriver out of your kit, but you managed to pull apart the AC unit, at least the front facade of it, as a little bit of insulation sort of pops out from behind it. You're able to peer in between the cracks now, and you can see an open space leading to the vent behind it.
Mm-hmm. Can I check for security measures that they might have inside there?
You absolutely can.
Okay, what do they got? I rolled a 6.
Outstanding. Yes, there is a chip. Actually, it's really a whole Arduino sort of board on the back of the AC unit that has wires leading to the corners. You quickly piece together a solution, however. If you cut through the bottom of the vent and lift the whole unit off, it won't sever the connection. and you can just leave it sort of hooked in.
Right, 94. Here's the plan. Help me out. We're doing this.
Alright, so I guess I'm just gonna boost him up to the vent, let him go on in.
Well, yeah, we do essentially the renewal bit, and we do it carefully, and basically make sure that the connection's never broken.
I'll break your connection. I haven't
So
said
this
anything in a
will
while.
be a, I'd almost let you use surgery for this, but this is going to be engineering hardware, which I believe you have.
Actually, I have engineering electronics.
That'll do.
Yeah. Also, I'm surprisingly good at this. I roll a 6 again. I have a
Outstanding.
skill of 15 on this.
Your small-scale and delicate equipment made for electronic parts makes short work of the thin, cheap sheet metal that the vent is made out of, and you even are able to curve it out without presenting a sharp edge for you to scrape your elbows on. The way now lies open to you to learn to worm your way deeper into the facility.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, Justin, you like worming your way in, don't you?
Oh, yeah. 1 inch at a time.
As you travel up the air duct, you're forced to lie on your stomach, shimmying with your shoulders to try and make your way slowly inside. It's painstaking, especially during those moments that you have to go uphill. But the downhill portion is almost more dangerous, as you
it's
don't
like
want
the
to
good old
slip and
days.
fall forward.
Oh,
So
it's like
this-
the good old days.
I am going to call this a stealth, since you guys are trying to remain quiet as you sort of shimmy your way up this metallic duct.
I'm gonna kick in my single-minded of trying to be stealthy over here, because if I'm caught, I die.
And as for you, Grog, this is just regular ordinary hearing, so anything that you have that suppresses sound would apply.
Sonar, maybe?
Not that type of sound.
Yeah.
I don't have access to tech level 10 yet, so...
Yeah. Okay, so just ordinary stealth then, I would imagine.
Okay,
Yeah.
since you're the guy leading the way, and therefore if you fuck up, I fuck up, you want to make the first roll.
Sure.
And plus, I can also potentially use my roll to correct your fuck up.
I make it by 3.
I'd like to point out we've all been attempting to correct Grog's fuck-ups for years. It's never gone well.
Well, I get to roll like 18 for this, so I should be good. Which is good because I rolled a 16. Fortunately, I'm at
Yeah,
skill
but-
18.
That's very good. Okay, you just managed to stop yourself with both arms outstretched, giving you enough surface friction against the sides of the vent. As it begins to dip down, you slowly shimmer your way past, and eventually reaching your way to a grate that's floor level on the second floor of the building, you would guess. Immediately on the other side, you're able to see thick carpeting. And I'd like you to give me, actually the two of you, please give me a perception roll.
Type of perception am I doing?
Vision.
Alright, vision. Does infrared...
I got
Or-
triple. I have triple ones.
Well, he's
Wow.
gonna get it, though.
That's like my first time rolling that ever.
Your keen eyesight instantly spots a beveled platform that's sort of been hastily disguised by the rug, but because the rug doesn't actually meet all the way to the far corner of the room, you're guessing the room is lined with pressure plates. Not something you want to step on as soon as you get out. Also, you see the bright lights of what you instantly recognize to be a stack server tower. You're clearly inside the room with some sort of mainframe.
Oh god, it's a mission impossible.
And you would also additionally reason that that's the reason you were able to actually crawl up into this vent in the first place. It needs enough air, as the now warm air sort of washes over your face, to vent the entire server room.
Ah, perfect.
Do I have anything that I can drop into there to see if there's a laser? I think there is. So, yeah, Mission Impossible music. Well, Laser torch, sir.
One right here.
Gonna try to light up the area to see if there's any lasers.
Okay. As you use the cutting laser torch around the sides, unable to unscrew the
Oh, technically this is a
Not
plastic
laser
torch.
torches in cutting, laser torches in the flashlight.
Oh.
that
Yeah,
kind of
flashlight.
torch. The British
That kind of-
English torch. In order to be able to view any lasers, you have to actually scatter light. So you're going to need some form of dust or gas or anything like that.
Well, we have gas, but we also happen to be in an air vent.
How about a
So-
large fire extinguisher?
No, that's overkill. You're in an air vent. Unless they recently serviced this, you could just grab a handful of dust.
Is there any
Nothing-
dust up here?
Nothing collects dust like an air vent.
You're glad you didn't drop 400 bulbs in a suit earlier, because indeed your uniform is covered in thick white dust.
Ooh, they haven't serviced this for a while.
Alright, so dropping some dust in the room to see if there's any lasers.
You scrape some of the dust off of your torso and blow it on the other side of the room. No lasers appear to light up in your vision, and scanning on the other frequencies, the invisible ones, you don't seem to notice any lasers over the door either.
Any infrared sensors in the room?
Difficult to see anything but the floor from here. You can just basically see the bottoms of the computer, a glass protective container of some kind, the carpet, and the pressure sensors underneath.
Let me just do a quick switch to the night vision for ultraviolet style. Just to see if that picks up anything on the side. Because some things show up to different types of missions, and it could be also something I'm not familiar with that might show up.
I'm going to say that there's not much in the ultraviolet besides the heat that's coming off of this massive server array, so for the most part the room looks completely dark except for some light penetrating through the walls, and then the gigantic sort of pool of light emanating from the server towers in the center of the room, which is projecting light pretty much across all frequencies, especially the thermal.
Yeah, perfect.
So, Bertrand, what you're saying is there is some light penetration.
Just the tip.
I guess I'm gonna lower myself down into the room, fully suited up.
Yeah,
It's
that-
not quite that much like Mission Impossible. You're at the ground level. So what you need to do is figure out a way to get that thing open so you can get a better view without touching the floor. That's the trick.
Oh,
Wow. Does anyone have a screwdriver? Anyone?
well. What do I happen to have here? Old Faithful.
That's what he calls her late at night.
That's what your wife said.
Yes, because you tried to fuck her with a screwdriver. I should think that would be slightly disconcerting for her.
Right, got a screwdriver.
Justin, you didn't come up with a witty response.
I know, but I'm also trying to. We could go back and forth on shitty responses, but I actually want to get this infiltration done.
Yeah, good thinking. You go to work on the inside of it. The screwdriver is more use when you finally get it pried open from the inside, and you're able to deftly retrieve the screws as you remove them from the vent without them touching the floor. The vent is beveled in such a way that it's easy to place by your side inside of the vent. Now the trick is going to be getting out. You can pop your head out though.
Okay, well, pop your head out. Give me a line. What we got?
I'm gonna
Okay.
pop my head out and look through all of my vision abilities.
The rest of the room is mostly empty. You can now hear some activity coming from the floor, but it's people walking up and down, and nobody seems to be looking into this particular room as they pass through the open doorway on the far side of the room. It's really just got the server computers in the side of it, but you do notice those glass-shaped bubbles on the ceiling that would belie either a security camera or a sensor of some kind. Also, a fire extinguisher.
Well, I'm probably gonna take the fire extinguisher. You never have too many fire extinguishers.
Well, yeah, they're useful and stuff. So, how about you give me a lift up, and I'll go and wire up the sensor.
Alrighty then. And
From there, I can potentially see if I can basically do a lean over and basically skirt my way onto the top of something, like the giant server, unless the server goes all the way up to the ceiling.
It's tricky. There's sort of a glass surrounding between it and you, a sort of walk-in area that you're just outside. If it may be possible for you to sort of stretch one leg over onto the top and just sort of hop over.
But we'll sort out the sensor bit. If it's the type of sensor I'm thinking of, it might not be able to send something directly underneath it.
You may be able to take a closer look at it if you want to tell what type of sensor it is.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll. Let's see. Could be security, could be tactics, or just simply perception.
Let's go for perception. And that is a 10, and I'm at 13.
Let's see. It seems reasonable to me that your character would have knowledge of this kind. The two...
I have knowledge of traps.
Yeah, exactly. Party rogue. The two raised circular platforms in opposition to each other provide a temperature gradient. You're pretty sure it's a thermal sensor.
Mm-hmm.
It's not projecting any form of light into the room, so you would guess it's a form of passive perception, easily blocked by just holding up something in front of it.
Okay. Yeah, we can arrange that. And then also staple that as well. Because who doesn't have a stapler?
Exactly. Now, I will say that the plan to sort of hop on top of one of the towers is extremely difficult.
Yeah, that is going to be difficult. I'm thinking, or basically, well, I'm going to 94. This one's going to be tricky. We need somebody on there, and it's going to be difficult to get somebody on there. Now, you could give me a little bit of a boost, and I could get that on there a bit more easier, or I could like table myself, and you could try do a little jump off my back.
I can lift like over 1,000 pounds. So
It's not a matter of
I'm, like,
strength,
lift
it's a matter
you
of
up.
precision.
Yeah, I'm just gonna lift you up and like just lock my robotic legs in place.
Oh,
so
that's
I'm not
perfect.
going anywhere.
And that way you can give me kind of the maximum amount of space I can get to be able to do this to make it easier on me.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay. Grog, I'll have you roll against your strength, and Justin, I will have you roll against your dexterity. Or if you have acrobatics.
I was sure I took acrobatics, but apparently I replaced it with shattering.
I made it by 10.
Okay, I'm on an 8, so I made it by 2 points.
Okay. Grog, you stick most of your torso out of the vent with your two arms staggered like stepping stones. You lock your arms and they don't waver at all as you're able to hold them still to support Winston's weight. Winston sort of snake-like coils his way out of the vent and puts his feet both onto your hands and climbs over the glass surrounding the case and is now seated somewhat uncomfortably on the top of a server tower. It wobbles a little bit, but no alarm sounds.
Good. Right, let's get past the little glass casing and then connect up.
Right. You hop over the top and find a seat comfortably with your legs draping over the side of the tower. As they say in your line of profession, physical access is total access.
Oh yeah.
That's what your mother says.
So I'm going to wire basically everything I've got and start siphoning information. You know, downloading what they got, downloading what they've got going through. Do you have any idea as how many computers I have?
I believe the last count was 6.
9, actually.
This
And
will
you have
show.
them hooked up to a slaved network for decryption and that kind of thing.
Yep, and it's also connected to a high-capacity, hardened compact PC. Because that was
As you plug-
expensive.
Oh yeah. And as you plug in your specialized equipment, it's fairly easy to get a copy on the line. The information appears to be junk. You'd guess it's pretty heavily encrypted, but you're able to capture a large amount of it, including a number of handshakes that might prove useful for decryption later.
Excellent. Well, I'll grab everything I can until I'm basically reaching my capacity, or I'm running out of time, and then we'll go and retrace our steps and get it out.
Okay. The system attempts to detect you as you plug in, but expert enough as you are, you're able to get in through ways that wouldn't trip any sort of sensor. And you begin passively siphoning off the information. However...
Haha! No one suspects the photocopier.
Oh my.
Suddenly the unit that you're on shuts down. And the lights that have been sort of blinking back and forth, indicating network activity, suddenly go dead.
That would be the AI. Let's get out.
Yep. And I pulled him out.
Okay. Justin, give me another, what were you using? Dexterity before? Just the dex dex? Yeah.
Shouldn't it just be my strength since I'm just pulling him?
You're not able to actually reach because he's on the other side of the glass. What he's got to do is he's got to tippy toe from the top of the server to the glass to your hands.
Okay.
Oh dear. Okay. What are the let's see. 3d6. Shit. I've got a dex of 11. Sorry, I got a dex of 10. I rolled an 11.
Well, I appreciate your honesty. You stumble as your torso sort of collides with the top of the glass, and not really being intended to support human weight, it falls to one side. Doesn't shatter. And no alarm sounds, but you are pressed against the floor.
Alright, I guess it's my cue to enter the room.
Okay.
Pull me out, 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 pull me out.
If I, like, lock my legs into the top of this grating, could I reach him from where he's at?
He is sort of fallen to one side of the room. To have any hope of actually reaching him, you will have to step out, like you were saying, and at that point, you know, it's
All
not
right.
really an issue.
I'm gonna drop down stealthily.
Okay.
That's a critical success.
Well, you crawl out of the vent, first on your hands and knees, and then rise yourself up to your full height. Still invisible. And you notice the slumped figure of Winston Truliad in the corner of the room. You also, with your keen senses, hear motion outside.
I'm going to get him, push him into the grate, and then I'm going to close the grate, stand in the corner, and be as stealthy as possible, because I don't think I have enough time for me to go into the grate as well. Is that correct? Or do I think I have enough time?
Well, it's up to you. I mean, you can either pick him up and try and get him into the grate before you, or you can hop in yourself first. You know, all I need to know really is the order that you're trying to go in.
I'm putting him in first. Do I think that I have enough time to go in as well?
It's possible to say, really.
Alright, so if it's impossible to say, why don't I roll a tactics roll?
Sure.
I mean, because I can hear, I can see, I've got a lot of voice caption in this computer. That's a 5, sir.
In this type of situation, the first response would be to lock down the facility,
First thing.
all entrances and everything like that, and then only to engage when you have overwhelming tactical superiority. You would guess that your jury-rigged entrance and exit will provide you enough time to get out.
You want me to drop some gas behind me?
Alright, so I'm gonna push him in, I'm gonna go in, and then I'm gonna close the vent behind us.
Hey everybody, it's the first time in history we're happy that Justin drops gas.
Okay, so I'm going to have you guys attempting to shimmy back into the narrow opening as quickly as you can. Are you deploying gas to try and cover yourself?
I think it's a good idea. What do you reckon, Rob?
Evan, grow the fuck up!
I'm sorry, normally we bitch at Justin when he's covered in gas.
Okay, once he gets over himself,
Yar.
Grog, gas.
Can I get bonus points for like hiding in a cardboard box? I really just want to hide in the cardboard box.
There will be an opportunity for that.
Okay.
But yeah, Grog, do you want cover or not?
Yes.
Cover or not?
Or
Yeah,
no,
cover.
no. We want this place to look like nothing's happened. So we're getting
Okay,
out.
no gas actually.
Okay. You can prop back the glass fixture the way that it was, if you'd like
Mhm.
to take the extra time to do that.
Sure.
Okay. You try and set up back everything the way that you can, even attempting to screw the vent in back as much as you can. You could at least get 3 points before you have to draw your arm in, and just sort of loosely leave the last screw in as you shimmy your way down the vent. We go back to the others. Zhilang Sao is giving the tour that he's clearly given many times before. You're on the first floor near the ground level of the building, when suddenly his vision sort of snaps to one side.
Is
Pauses.
everything alright?
He doesn't respond, as he seems to be sort of reading text that none of you can see. His eyes sort of scan the invisible page. As he says, "Excuse me for a moment, I'm going to have to call the meeting short," and he dashes back into the building, leaving you in the front entrance.
Well, in order to kind of save face, because no doubt we're being monitored, I'm simply going to turn to the doctor and say, Honourable Master, I do not believe that this company represent our best interest if they cannot even wish us goodbye and see us to the door.
I look over at him, I whisper, do you think they're working with them?
He will calmly shrug before he will simply say, he will turn to the receptionist and simply ask, would it be possible for you to procure us a method of transportation, please?
Yes, she says, tapping on the view screen in front of her. Zhilang Sao left instructions for you from up above. You are to be taken to the offshore facility upon signing of the contract he sent to you.
I am afraid that we must take it under advisement. My legal, as the legal representative for my master here, I will require to read it before we will agree to sign, and we are needed for other pressing business. Now, assure your employer that he will be hearing from me within the week.
Very well, she says. Would it be most convenient for us to contact you at the email address you left?
Yes, that would be most convenient. If you could arrange transportation to Hengsha International Airport, please.
Oh, she says, certainly. I hope you enjoyed your stay.
It was most enlightening.
By the way, while Kiki is having a conversation with the receptionist, Silas will use his info link and just send essentially an email to Winston saying, just to let you know, the security update you suggested has gone wrong. I would suggest that you send me a more up-to-date version as soon as possible.
Nice.
The message goes through the internal network without much of a fuss. Both of you are sending and receiving just fine.
Yeah, and he's just signed it off Silas.
Justin, as you're shimmying down the vent, you receive the message. but it's you're not in much of a position to do anything about it at this point.
Oh, totally not doing anything about it.
The receptionist says, well, a standard pod can take you to the airport if you prefer, or we can provide you with our own transport, whichever you prefer.
A standard pod would be more than agreeable. We just wish someone to hail it for us, not being native, etc.
Very well, she says, dragging her hand to one side of the screen, and as she does so, on the left-hand side of your vision, ETA and travel information and service information appear. Estimated time of arrival, 1 minute and 37 seconds.
Thank you very much for your hospitality. As I have said, you will hear from us within the week.
Before we disembark, I go, man, there's a lot of Chinese people here.
Yes, Master, there is indeed, in China.
We're in China? I thought this was Germany. You lied to me.
I apologize, my master is overwrought again.
Don't worry, sir. We shall be sure to get you some very nice tea. Now,
And by tea, we mean medication.
same thing. Now let's quickly get you to the pod, sir. We don't want anyone watching, do we? And he says
They're always watching.
And he says it in very much a tone of, it's the tone you would use to someone who's like on their deathbed.
They're always watching.
It's very much a hospital tone of, now, sir, come on, let's get in the pod.
Oh my.
Okay, back to our two infiltrators. You finally shimmy your way down the vent and outside, and you notice with some relief that the two figures that you knocked unconscious earlier are still slumped unconscious by the door. However, a moment later, the door nearby bangs open as a number of guards race out. Now, I'm going to give you the opportunity, since you've been stealth the whole way, to maintain that stealth. But it is going to be at a penalty. So we're going to do a quick contest here.
Yeah,
Your perception versus...
Lots of penalties for them.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a 5. No, 6, sorry.
And your
I'm
stealth
fine.
is...
By 3, and they have lots of penalties.
Yeah. I'm just
I
going to
work
use...
best under pressure.
It's visual and auditory. Both of you succeed by more of a margin than he did. So what happens is they bust through the door. They're clearly in a ready stance. They're looking down the sights of their automatic weapons and rifles. And they're basically, one of them kneels by the slumped bodies of his companions and begins checking for a pulse. The others fan out, and they're actually facing away from you now, most of them, to cover the entrance.
So, insert cardboard box maneuver A.
So basically, we're going to do the drop down where they're looking away, and as they turn around to go and like recheck things, sneaking down the middle, basically going, "Ha ha, suckers."
So you're essentially doing a Tom and Jerry routine.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
As this is happening, Sasori is going to very calmly send an email to the others, simply saying, because of how we're probably going to handle this, they're going to need to snake their way out and whatever else. And I'm going to send to Justin, dear Auntie Hasiana. The flowers in Nagoya Castle are always beautiful this time of year. I do so look forward to seeing them again with you. My flight will be leaving at this time.
Nice.
I love how we've both sent just encoded messages.
And they're good coded messages as well. One being incredibly vague, but also, if the specifics, incredibly obvious.
I might have to give you guys points for those coded messages. Just making a note. Awesome. Yeah, some jerk is talking about the flowers in Nagoya Castle while you're busy trying to exfiltrate yourself from a hot zone. What a jerk.
So I actually am going to be like stealthing out of here as a cardboard box.
Okay. It's a cute idea. You've got thermoptic camo. Like,
Yeah,
you're
I'm-
basically invisible. Like, what is the cardboard box going to do for you?
Because they
wait, wait.
a cardboard box.
Post yourself, man.
It's just a cardboard box.
I'm-
There couldn't be anything underneath it, because there's nothing underneath it.
Yeah.
You know a lot about stealth. It's a wide open parking lot. And one of the nice things about the differences between not playing a computer game is that you don't have rock stupid AI that thinks that a giant packing crate in the middle of an empty parking lot moving isn't suspicious. So what, like, from out of nowhere, this cardboard box ejects itself from the air vent and just begins scooting along with a little eye hole?
Yes! I have enough stealth, it should work. It should work.
Well, yeah, you can do that.
Hey, hang on,
I'm just
Bertrand,
going to
Bertrand.
throw
I
a
fully,
tin
I,
can.
hang on, Bertrand. I let him do it. Just let him do it. Do the thing.
The wall took a shit.
Do you want to have, like, any designs painted on the side of your cardboard box, like, you know?
You know, before it's riddled with bullets.
Do go faster, Stripes. Do go faster, Stripes.
Racing stripes and paint it red.
Awesome.
Red
So
ones go
remember-
faster.
And remember, flame along the corners.
So you don't have, like, a pinup model on the side of it or anything like that,
Yes.
just racing... You do have a pinup model on the
Yes.
side.
Like,
Oh god.
and it obviously looks like Japanese, like, car design or whatever. You know, like, they have, like, the weird,
It's gonna go from
thing
cardboard
on.
box to cardboard calendar in
when-
5 minutes.
When jokes get taken too far.
It's not far
Okay.
enough yet. It's not
With
far
such
enough.
consolation, somehow during the middle of our conversation, I lost a filly.
Oh,
really?
It's a big filling as well. I'm holding it. It's
Oh no, do you need to take a break?
yeah. Just give me a couple of minutes to just kind of wash the bits out of my mouth.
Yeah, sure, man.
You'll be right back.
I think this would be a good time for all of us to take 5.
But BR, I think I actually am going to design a box and send it to you.
Oh, for the love of God.
Oh yeah.
For Christ's sake, just
I mean, don't get me wrong, there are times when a cardboard box could be useful.
accept
This is not
the
one of them.
cardboard calendar.
That's blasphemy, BR. The cardboard box is always useful. And the people looking at it don't suspect it as anything other than a cardboard box.
Yeah,
Except
that's
when
if
it
you're
keeps
working with
moving.
AI. I think I told you, well, we'll just take a 5 to 10 minute break if any of you guys want to continue with the banter, or just go to the bathroom, grab some snacks, do your thing.
Bertrand,
Make a
can I
dental
grab your
appointment
snack?
in Justin's case.
Say what?
Make a dental appointment in Justin's case.
Yeah, exactly.
Or throw a
Just,
petrol bomb
hang
through
on,
his dentist
honest to
window.
God, he was just at the dentist like yesterday.
Yeah,
Probably
that's
why.
I mean, I have a tooth with a trunk missing, and the filling that's in it is still perfectly good.
I'd make a joke about British teeth, but it turns out they have really good dentists on average.
That's actually the biggest lie I have ever heard. I've been to the UK more times than I can count. They have all got terrible teeth. Hand to God, this is somebody who is impartial in this debate. They
Yeah.
all look like their dentures were taken from dead horses that they happen to have murdered and skinned.
Oh, yeah,
the British work,
You're not
the big
impartial
book of
at all.
British
Oh
teeth.
yeah, that's the thing. We have terrible teeth in terms of how they look. When it comes to the quality of making our teeth not fall out, generally we do well. They're just not good to look
Exactly. The big scrapbook of the British Book of Teeth is a wonderful comedic read. But
at.
yeah,
I mean,
it's like, you have big ugly teeth, but you have good dental care.
yeah, I mean, I had half a tooth punched out at one stage, and I had to have a crown done, and it still is in pretty damn good nick.
Good stuff. I
Yeah,
would imagine it's
indeed.
probably covered too, right?
No, well, it's on the NHS, but not covered in the insurance.
Like out here, dental is usually separate, and a lot of employee plans give you both, but a lot of them don't. So especially part-time workers have to pay out of pocket for dental.
Yeah, if I had to do that, I would not have a dentist. Which is why I'm so
Yeah.
glad with it. I'm so glad I don't have to pay my dental bills.
My parents wouldn't trust my teeth when I was younger to a public dentist. They were like, "Oh no, we actually like our children."
Yeah. I have a
Alright, guys.
tooth
I'm
because
back.
of my dentist.
Oh, you're back.
Hang on,
Well,
Justin,
just in time for
weren't
me
you
to go to the
literally-
bathroom.
Weren't you literally just at the dentist like yesterday?
Yeah, just yesterday, and I was just doing a little bit of poking around on my teeth with a toothpick, and then the filling came out.
Yeah, Justin,
Was it-
my advice to you is go to the petrol station with a wine bottle, fill it up, and take it to the dentist and burn that place to the ground. Because he's clearly shit at his job beyond the medical licensing.
I agree with him only because it involves a building being burned down.
Wow, Caleb being stereotypical.
Hispanic people aren't known for arson. I don't know where you're getting that from. I'm not Middle Eastern.
They're known for rape and drug dealing.
Yeah, get it right.
And
and-
beheadings. And beheadings.
That's kind of a generally just poor and brown sort of thing. That's not particular.
No, I would say Mexico City makes it a pretty strong Hispanic thing.
Yeah, but
I
like-
just hate the taste of dislodged fillings. It tastes like
Dental
pure-
dental cement is also a shit
Yeah.
thing.
Alright, so you get some red rust powder and some powdered aluminum, right? And just mix that together. Make some thermite. Way better than no water can quench it.
Yeah, how about I replace the bit with a cyanide capsule while I'm at it?
That would be relatively cool.
Isn't it like
But no, Justin, back me up on this now. You're not British, and I emphasize this point. But don't the British, in general, have the worst teeth of any race you've ever met?
They're the only people I know that are famed for bad teeth. Besides, headhunters, you are kind of famed for not having many teeth.
Yeah, I would argue like elderly tribes people tend to
Not just tribes people, but they're elderly.
Yes, the young ones tend to have okay teeth. It's once they've gotten old enough that their teeth are rotting out the skull anyway. It's the old medieval problem.
Right. Okay.
Well, if you have a look at a medieval skull, the teeth are white. Perfectly white. Then you get to the Tudor era when they introduce sugar and they just go to fuck.
They do this.
In all fairness, those white teeth were buried for a long time. We don't know what happened. Also, in my defense, I'm like 36 hours without sleep, so...
I'm sorry, Caleb. I'm genuinely sorry for you.
I seem to be coping.
I am the king of insomnia. Look at the fucks I give.
Hey,
He gives a great
I'm
many.
not comparing to you, I'm just saying that's where I am.
Good boy. Would you like a treat?
I appreciate you showing up, Caleb. It's, since it was your first session and all.
I find that Caleb's characters get more batshit insane depending on the amount he slept and the amount he's drunk. To the extent they create...
I think that kind of applies to anyone.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it's not like it's signature to me.
I've never
That's
seen...
like to any role player.
By the way, guys, the game session is still live. Let's stick to it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're ready to get back started now. So, as you shimmy out of the vent, Justin, you notice one of the guards sort of snap around and look in your direction. The hair stands up on the back of your neck as he walks forward, sort of looking through the viewfinders, sort of swinging around in either direction, clearly looking for something. And you breathe a silent sigh of relief as the man looks down at the vent that the two of you just crawled out of. He reaches a gloved hand down and reaches up to pull the cut open entrance underneath and sort of looks in the back at the circuitry. In front of you, on the other side, there's a cardboard box.
Oh my.
You're not sure where it came from, but it has really cool racing stripes on the side.
Well, I'll take a somewhat different route to the cardboard box. As I escape to freedom!
You slowly inch away from the facility, and if they could see you, they've let you go. Presumably it's now time to begin rendezvousing with the others. Nobody seems to be following you, so you can hail a pod.
Well, I'm actually going to go with the logic of, hey guys, I like you both, but it might be wise if you take the long way back to Japan. Because they're probably following you right now.
There's more ways to get back to Japan, Summer.
Indeed. All roads lead to Kyoto. But, yeah, no, I think that it might be wise if you take the other route back and we do the chopper. Because I don't know why. That screams too easy at me.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's nothing against me, you know, chartering a flight. Well, not chartering a flight. Booking the closest flight, which could be soon, and hanging out in an arcade until that happens.
Yeah, that might be the best. Bertrand, thoughts?
If you would like, you can send a coded message back to each other with a rendezvous point. It sounded like you wanted to meet at the international airport before.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Actually, I will, either that or my message could have been read, either that or I will see you back in Japan.
Well, that's how I read the message.
Yeah, that was how I was intending it to be said.
Yeah. But yeah, I need to go and book a flight, but I don't have to be at the airport to book the flight. And just like, yeah, what's the next commercial flight? Nice commercial, fully public.
We're skipping ahead a little bit here. Let's finish off with Grog. So Grog, you are in your cardboard box in the center of the parking lot. How would you like to proceed? They haven't looked over in your direction yet.
Grog,
if you're not there, Grog, we'll come back to you.
Grog, if you're trying to talk, you're muted.
Yeah. It's okay, we can come back to him.
I believe his words would be shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
Winston, as you make your way clear of the fence line from the facility, and you now find yourself back on the streets of Hangsha, the sun is still bright, it's about noon, and you are looking into local international flights. Now, if you fly in the ass end of the cabin, you could get out as quickly as 9 p.m. tonight. 9 hours from now, 2 hours later than the time that was quoted to you earlier by the mysterious doctor. 2 hours later, excuse me.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
So you're going to go ahead and book a ticket on that flight?
Yep, nice and public, you know, not potentially being shot down in a helicopter.
Do you have alternate identity or zeroed?
We got him a false identity, if you recall.
Yeah, you gave me a false identity.
You were given a false ID package to get you around basically around the street level of Hangshan through the bioscanners. It might work with booking a ticket.
I could create one.
You could. If you want to take a look at what you've got so far, you might be able to try and determine whether or not it's sufficient for air travel.
Yeah, well, check if it's sufficient for air travel, but also check if it's modifiable to make it improve it to air travel sufficiency.
Sure. Go ahead and roll against your forgery.
I love the forgery skill. Okay, I rolled a 13 and my forgery is 14.
You're guessing that it was good enough. The package is a short-term solution. The gloves aren't reusable, but if you keep to yourself and don't pass through any scanners, you reason your chances are now of getting through security are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You pop open the package and make sure the name that you're booking matches. You bounce the signal through enough proxies that you're fairly sure you're not going to be traced, and you leave the name and information that matches the equipment ID card. You're sitting in the middle of a seat in the back near the bulkhead, but it's better than nothing.
Yep. That's fine. Also, I can mail some items over for me to collect on the other side.
Okay.
Well, I don't think that they're going to like me going through airport customs with a disguise fabricator.
No, they would not. Or most of the other tech you bring with you.
Yeah. Some stuff can be mailed securely and separately and in different parcels, and basically make it really, really hard for anybody to track. But the important stuff I can conceal on my person and had covered against general equipment scanning.
Okay, you don't need to roll, but you have Streetwise, right?
Yep.
So it's a fairly easy matter for you to go up to an automated delivery terminal, package the mailing, and the nice thing about automation, there's nobody to ask questions. You make sure that the name and address match what they're supposed to name, knowing that they'll check for that, and knowing that you have a pretty good chance of receiving your gear. You deposit it in a bin, and it should reach the Japanese mainland in, well, depending on how much you want to pay, anywhere between 2 and 7 days.
I'll go for the 2.
Okay. If you haven't started an expenses sheet...
yeah, I'm just knocking it directly off my totals.
Okay. Just make sure you make a note of that on your sheet.
I've literally just... you said 200, right?
The cost of shipping will be, let's say, with the amount of hardware you're sending, 54 bulbs.
54. Okay. 54 bulbs. Okay. Yeah, so I just manually make the adjustments.
Okay. Grog, have you returned yet?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're inside your box. You've noticed that the other guard is now investigating the vent entrance where the two of you got in. He's lifting up where you guys actually cut inside and looking at the back of it. The other two are still guarding the door, and you can sense on the other side of the building that they're guarding that entrance too. They have the place more or less surrounded. They're facing away from you right now, as you can tell from underneath the cover of your box. How would you like to proceed?
Given your lack of peripheral vision, you can probably not notice that Winston is gone.
I'm going
We
to...
may be leaving you, we may have decided we're leaving you to face the music, Rob. We're not sorry.
Well, we're not pleasing the face.
I'm only fucking with him, Justin, don't worry.
I'll meet him once he's free.
What I plan on doing is going up and walking to the side of the building. 'Cause this is like a receiving end, right?
This is a rear sort of staff entrance, if you will.
So what you're saying, Bertrand, is they receive it in the rear?
Yes. The staff comes in from behind.
So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk to the edge of the building, wait for him to go away, and then just go around the building. Because it's not like he was looking too terribly hard for, like, just a normal box to be on the side of the building.
Okay. You're gonna wait in your box. Gotcha.
The secret of the box is the patience in the box.
It is the patience, actually.
You notice that one of the men closest to the door says something to his companions as they both turn around. He slowly begins to approach the cardboard box and begins poking at that with the muzzle of his rifle.
I don't move. I don't have to breathe. They can't see any signature sound inside.
He sort of looks around at it and then returns back to his patrol.
And once his back is turned, they're all no longer looking. I go around the corner.
So sort of, you look at the bush, it stops, and you look away from the bush, it sprouts a pair of legs.
I would like to point out, if Bugs Bunny has thought us anything, this is a completely viable plan.
You look
Yeah.
back to the box. The box is not there anymore.
They're pretty
The box
fixated on the
always
front of the
there?
building, and you're able to...
When I get around the building, I'm going to get out of the box, and I'm going to leave a disposable PDF, like reader or whatever,
Mhm.
just inside the box. and with a secure email address that they know is related to bounty for breaking into places.
Sure, you leave behind a cheap, portable datapad with the address written on it outside of the cardboard box. And a few pedestrians notice your exit out of the box as the box sort of shimmies up onto the sidewalk, opens itself, and then nothing stands out as the box sort of collapses. You're still invisible, your stealth systems are still active, and you're now on the streets of Hengsha, alone. Winston Truliad, if he is next to you, you can't sense him. But you do have this message in your email talking about the flowers of Nagoya Castle and the international airport, etc.
Well, I'm gonna head to the international airport then, and I'm going to sneak in to wherever they're being from. I'm gonna shoot a message back at, using a secure line back at, what's just
Winston.
back to Winston. From whence we came, to whence shall we go? What pier shall our ship be docked at?
Let me look up that information. I have the name of the docks.
I'm not asking
ship.
about the docks. I'm actually asking about what you should understand is I'm asking about which spot the helicopter's in. I'm just using docks as subterfuge.
Yeah, we're basically going to like semicode from whence we remain, we shall not remain, unto other coasts we shall go again.
From whence we came, we shall now go.
I was happy with my one.
Yeah, but you didn't leave a number. I needed a number, damn it.
What's the number of my plane flight?
International flight 754 to Tokyo.
Lucky numbers in today's horoscope is 754.
So I'm just going to sneak into the airport, I guess. Like, over some fences and the whole shebang, and like be waiting for them inside the helicopter.
Do you have alternate identity or zeroed?
No.
Pretty much your only option for, especially for an international flight, but also at the airport. I mean, are you going to try and sneak on the plane?
No, we're leaving by a private helicopter.
No, yeah, the other guys are leaving by private helicopter. I'm leaving by a public plane.
Basically, we decided that we didn't want the possibility of you two being followed, so we decided to leave so we're leaving, and you're making your own way back to Japan proper.
Well, I'm Hode.
You're not any good at... can you catch a public plane?
No, I can't.
Really?
Yeah. They'll execute me if they find me.
Oh, shit.
Well then, you sir are Hode.
Yeah, I'm Hode.
Well, not necessarily as much as you think. I mean, the people at La Academe might catch up with you, but you've got some time before that, and you can still travel under your name, but you have to do it under your name.
Give me a second.
But wait a second.
Grog, here's a small suggestion to you, and it may or may not work. Use the cardboard box method.
Become the cargo.
Yes,
I'll become the cargo.
I'm quite serious. Have yourself posted to Nagoya Castle. After all, if the box looks empty, if the box looks empty from inside, you can just hold like a piece of polystyrene above you, and be inside the box and have yourself posted to Nagoya.
That is, in fact, so awesome.
In all fairness, you were listed as cargo on my chopper.
Yeah, there's no reason why you... I mean, they accepted you as cargo once, especially if you look like a box, you can be cargo again. And if when they scan you, you just look maybe like box holding an MP3 player, for example. Then you can just pass through.
Is there any way that I can post myself to Segoya Castle using its
Send me a message saying the package is located at Pier 23. Please post me. And I can go post you.
Yes, do it that way.
Does your character still need to breathe, Grog?
No.
Okay.
And technically, there is still breathable air in the box. In thing, you just have to make a minor cut in the plastic.
No, I don't need to breathe. So,
Fuck it, let's post you.
yeah, I'm gonna ask to be posted. Like, is there any way that I can do it fully automated, to where no human will actually do anything?
Express airmail.
All the mail is screened, but there's a chance with the sheer amount of circuitry that you've got in you that you might make it through. There are other options that you're familiar with, however, though you don't know where they are. You know that the other people are coming out on the helicopter, but you don't know where that is, and presumably they want to leave without you. The other option is the boat they came in on. You don't know the location of that, but you could presumably ask. Or you could post yourself, but that will take a few days.
A few days
Well,
being posted.
the boat will take a week to get there.
That was my logic. Yeah, the boat's going to take even longer.
Express airmail.
Oh my god, you can be my luggage.
I could. I'm going to be his luggage.
Okay.
But my
You
question
two are-
becomes: are you going to be the luggage?
Hmm?
Sorry,
And-
people have.
VR, I've got decent tactics and I got a decent know-how. Would it just be easier for me to sneak onto the luggage section of the plane?
It would almost certainly be easier to go as checked luggage and pass through the normal scans. Luckily, with your sheer amount of augmentations, you can pretty easily dislocate your shoulders and basically fold yourself into a little rectangle that could fit inside.
I can do a little bit of preparation on the packaging for smuggling purposes.
So that's what I'm gonna do.
So we are basically
there and tell him that there's a suitcase, or well, how am I gonna say this? There's a package waiting for you. That your horoscope says is not fragile, but should not be shaken because it will anger the gods of death.
It will anger the Shinto gods. Please deliver to Nagoya Castle, Japan.
Please deliver with all haste to the Segoya Castle. You will receive a million yen. If you repost this 27 times.
This is so awfully brilliant, I just have to go along with it.
I appreciate your support. My only good idea so far.
Awesome. I love it.
So Grog, essentially you've packed yourself in a box ready for Winston to come and receive you and take you to a shipping, or to take you into the airport.
Yep.
Okay. As you arrive at the docks, Justin, you realize that you're going to need some sort of, well, I hesitate to say a crane, but at least a dolly to try and get this thing into a pod.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll dolly. I mean, I'm a tourist after all. This is the sum total of my tourist buyings. I believe I've gone a little bit over my, weight limit, but I'm willing to pay.
Certainly. As you manage to slide the thing awkwardly into the pod, barely able to fit it, end up diagonally against the seat, you notice the wheels sort of resting a little bit lower on the ground. As the pod goes on its 40-minute journey towards the international airport, you give yourself the opportunity.
$100 like slides itself out of the package.
You go to work with your forgery skill, drawing along the outside, saying, fragile, augmentation components, such and such, with some serial numbers that you're easily able to pull off the web.
Mm-hmm.
That way, if it does show up underneath the scan, it'll just look like a bunch of spare parts, which you are.
Which is brilliant.
Things are uneventful at the airport. Now, I'm assuming you guys have... It's about noon right now, maybe getting on towards 1 o'clock. You have For those of you taking the helicopter, 5 or 6 hours. And for those of you flying, you have about 7. Is there anything else you would like to do in Hengsha?
Not really.
Not die, not get shot.
Well, I
Not
get back
get
in my
caught.
tack suit.
This is how we always ship grog from now on.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much this is how I get in and out of countries, because I have things that VR should be looking at, which is why I'm going through this incredibly roundabout way to get out of the country.
Yes, from now on we always send grog airmail.
It's just one
In
time.
fairness, it's probably cheaper than actually buying him a plane ticket.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
Yeah, one time
he's not nice enough to warrant FedEx.
I'm sorry, it's not cheaper than buying a plane ticket. Have you seen what the weight limit costs are?
Yeah, I'm gonna point out.
Hey Justin, and consider this: you have to pay them.
Yeah,
He's gonna get lost in the mail.
don't worry.
I did slide 300 bulb, printout for him.
We're good. In fact, I'm adding 300 bulbs and then immediately deducting 300 bulbs.
You need only deduct 120 bulbs, so feel free to pocket the difference.
See? Told you!
Excellent.
It is cheaper than buying him a fucking plane ticket.
That's probably cheaper than hiring me as a helicopter pilot. Fuel ain't free.
Wait, who said I was hiring you? You're doing this out of the goodness of your I'm not going to break your legs.
Yeah. We're gonna go negotiate in the air.
Yeah, that's a great way to negotiate.
Considering
Just gonna
Sasori
say I
can,
have an ace.
considering Sasori can also fly your helicopter, you really don't.
We'll see.
My god, the character sheet takes minus fixtures as well. This just made my budgeting a whole lot easier.
So, Wyatt, Silas, and Sasori, you make your way to the international airport and notice in Mandarin as you pull up alongside a neon glowing sign that says Taiyang Flight Club, where Wyatt's private helicopter is parked. There's not a lot of activity on the other side. There's a few people, hobbyists mostly, going in and out. You spot small Cessna-like planes landing ever so gently on the runway that's kitty-corner to the airport. If you would please, Wyatt, would you like to describe what your helicopter looks like sitting out there on the tarmac?
I have a picture.
Please tell me it's not an orc helicopter.
Yes. Yes, it needs to be.
It's this little helicopter. It's very nice. It's old as a dicks, and it probably has more duct tape in any part than metal at this point. You gotta understand where most people are still using, vertical takeoff and landing aircraft and stuff like that. Mine's a helicopter.
Don't worry, duct tape will hold.
It's kind
I
of
think
old
I can
duct
see
tape.
duct tape in the picture.
I mean, it's a solid chopper, but I mean, it was like solid 10 years ago.
Now it's rather mushy.
Yeah, it's al dente pasta.
Alright, so this means if we survive this, I'm buying you a better helicopter so I don't die in a claptrap. Okay.
And you still think you're confident enough not to die behind the wheel of this thing?
Thanks.
Evan, I suggest you pay him.
Also, you have a parachute.
I'm going to
Bob.
buy one from the Air Club.
I was gonna say, because I do. $500,000 if you want it.
Bertrand, can I, honest to God, buy a parachute from the Air Club?
You walk into the front office and it seems to be pretty bare bones. There's a lot of flight enthusiast periodicals, small data pads and the like, and nobody seems to even be working the front desk right now. There's a logbook that's kept open in the front, and the most they offer in terms of supplies is a vending machine filled with various Chinese colas.
I'm forced to ask. What would be the damage if we had to jump out of the crashing helicopter?
Oh my, a lot.
Right. So DR8 wouldn't do much for me.
No, see, GURPS actually tries to somewhat realistically bottle falling damage, so as you accelerate, you take more.
Yeah, I hate terminal
You,
velocity.
you see, the idea is how much damage does it do? The answer is
Mind
enough.
you, to be fair, Caleb, under FCA or FCC or whatever the hell it's called,
FAA.
FAA, thank you. Under FAA regulations, you do have more than one parachute. You know this, right?
That would be true if it wasn't for the fact that I also have a drug lab in my helicopter, and I'm currently carrying a submachine gun with a suppressor on it.
Yes.
It says that he has
Federal
multiple
Air-
parachutes on the manifest, but who's going to
Yes.
check?
Yes, let's face it.
Technically,
Fuck
bitch.
the Federal Aircraft Authority.
We happen to be
let's-
horrible criminals, so...
Let's just get a move on. So yes, so we will go to the helicopter.
As you pile into the helicopter stroke clown car, it's pretty uncomfortable, and you imagine how uncomfortable it would have been had all 6 of you been here. Some of the seats have been stripped. There is a bit of a med kit in the back, and Wyatt sits comfortably in the front with a radio over his head and begins. You wait for a while in the helicopter, passing the time until ground control finally calls in. And with that, your departure out of Hangshaw, a signal to the ground, as the helicopter slowly, effortlessly dips down, effortfully, and then eventually slowly makes its way into the air carrying its payload. You fly over the lights of the city as you can see the giant skyscrapers and the double platform rising high into the air as the lights slowly fade into the distance over the East China Sea. So let me see what time it is.
8:02.
Yeah, it's 9:03 my time. We've been going for about 4 hours. I think that was a pretty good session. What do you guys think?
Yay!
Yeah.
Cardboard box.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you again, as always, in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.